I need to cough. Do I just turn it off?
Well, see, that's normal. You got to.
we did yesterday, okay, and flow warm up here. Understood? We're breaking up. Coach Brandon down here, Coach Pat right here. Understood? Hey! Bring it in. Come on, come on. You got me? Let's go. Who we got? Who we got? Let's go. High 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Get there. 10, 9.
Well, welcome to Mono, Ontario, here at the Athlete Institute, Orangeville Prep. It's the class of, well, the season class, 2020-21. I'm Chris McKee, joined by Wes Brown. So welcome to all the college coaches all across Canada, the United States, tuned in, watching us. Wes, should be a fun day.
I'm excited to be back in the gym. Any opportunity to be scouting. Obviously, a lot of the coaches in the States can't come see these guys. So anything I can do to help them get seen, get recruited, and help the coaches as well, my clients out there in the States, great opportunity.
So we'll start off, we'll walk you through the whole practice. Start with a little warm-up here. We're going to get into a whole bunch of different series of drills running for the next 2 hours, and then we'll tell you a little bit about each of the guys on the court and get a little bit more familiar with each person. So a whole bunch of new guys. I mean, we had 9, 10 guys from last year, all down in playing NCAA Division I, Division II. Obviously led by Matthew Alexander Moncrief, one of the top recruits in the country. He's committed to Oklahoma State. Whole list of guys. You want to run through some of the guys from last year as well?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at their starting lineup, Coleman Stuckey, one of their top scorers, he's gone to Northeastern. Kyler Filowich, one of my favorite bigs from last year, a really high IQ player. He's gone to Southern Illinois. Shamar Mays, who played for the national team also. He's off to Youngstown State. So, and they were a team really that ran 10 deep. It's not like they ran shifts, but they really had a lot of guys that they could throw at you. Justice, he's gone as well.
Purdue-Fort Wayne.
Purdue-Fort Wayne, yeah. So
Alex Nawaga, Northeastern University as well.
The list goes on.
Jeff Nagandu, Seton Hall.
There you go, yeah.
And Dyson Frank at Pace University.
Yeah.
And, of course, one of my favorite guys, Lorenzo Downey, who is at, Western Texas, doing a little JUCO. He's no doubt a Division I player.
Yeah.
A little polish up his skills and maybe classroom work, and you'll be seeing him on television shortly.
For sure, yeah. I mean, he was one of the best shooters out there last year, the last 2 years. He actually really had an unbelievable OSBA final 2 years ago. That's really when he popped onto the scene, probably really came on Orangeville's radar. He had something like 20-something points for TRC, and they ended up winning the championship, and he was a stud in that game, hitting threes, getting to the rim. Yeah, he'll be a D1 guy after he goes JUCO for sure.
So a couple of the new guys I'm really interested in getting a look at. I've seen Rory Stewart a couple times transfer in here from TRC. Number 15, you mentioned Kyler Filowich, 6'9". I mean, Rory almost, Kyler goes out, Rory comes in, I think, going to fulfill the same role. So number 15 is wearing a white jersey. Rory listed at 6'9", big guy, athletic. Keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, they say if you can't beat him, join him. Well, in the quarterfinals last year of the OSBA championship, he lit up Orangeville. I think he had something like 18 points in 23 minutes. He was 3 of 4 from 3. Skilled, can score from all 3 levels, obviously. And you'll see a bit of that today. His pick and pop game, his short roll game, he's really comfortable with. And really a guy, you might see it here today, that I've seen in the past in practices, gets himself going, has this special energy about him. So we'll see what he can do today.
Another TRC transfer, number 4, Jefferson Monegro. Another guy you want to watch out for out of the Montreal area. Yeah. He's going to be in his first season here with Orangeville.
Yeah, I saw him for the first time maybe 2-3 years ago on a trip to Montreal. I believe he was playing for Paget, and he really made my day trip worth it because he had a quarter where he was unbelievable. He made threes, jump shots, dunks, an unbelievable athlete, and definitely one of my favorite prospects to come out in the next few years.
So he's out of the Brookwood Elite program in the Montreal area. one of the best programs in the country. You know,
Yeah.
we'll talk about some of the alumni here from Athlete Institute and Orangeville Prep. Lugens Dort. I mean, in my opinion, the two best players in the NBA playoffs have come out of this gym. We got Jamal Murray and Lugens Dort. So, Lou, what do you know about that Brookwood program? I mean, Keyshawn Barthelemy, Tyrese Samuel, a ton of guys coming out of there.
No, they've done an unbelievable job. I actually went to one of their practices recently. They develop a lot of the talent there. They get a lot of the top players. Obviously, Lou Dort being the cream of the crop. The best thing about Lou is that he plays his role to a T and shows everybody at this level that you don't need to be a 30-point scorer to make it to the next level, whatever that level is. You need to play your role, play hard, and his aggression on the defensive end made him the obsession. Jamal Murray is pure talent scoring. I mean, how many guys can be that? Maybe there's 10 guys in the world. But you look at Lou Dort, him playing his role perfectly, him being aggressive. His teammates love him because he plays so hard. And it's pretty crazy that those two guys that have been everyone's obsession, came out of here.
So, Lou, obviously, I'm heading into my 5th season calling games here at AI and Orangeville Prep, and got to know Lou pretty well. And, he didn't play that kind of defense here. Nobody attacked the basket like him, and he was so physical, but didn't need to play that kind of defense. So it's great to see. And even at Arizona State, he wasn't that much of a defensive guy. So he's changed his whole approach. And, hey, I think it's going to help him get paid a little bit more. I know he signed a 2-year deal, but I think he's due for another contract. So.
I think it was actually longer. I'm not 100%, but what you see is someone that's able to adapt to their role. And he was a scorer obviously at Orangeville, and in the All-Star games here, he was unbelievable attacking the rim. You wouldn't find anyone that relentless. Nonetheless, he realized that his role in the NBA wasn't going to be a scorer. So he's adapted. And he still attacks the rim aggressively, but he knows that, Shea and Chris Paul are the guys on offense, and he's going to play his role and try to space the floor and guard the other team's best player. Look at what he did to James Harden. His shooting numbers were terrible when he was guarding him.
So one of the guys I'm really looking forward to watching this year with Orangeville, Darius DeVero. He's going to be the point guard. Last year, split time with Shamar Rattan-Mays, and Shamar here, 4 or 5 years, and finally, he's off to Youngstown State, and one of my favorite players. I think Shamar at some point is going to be an all-conference player, senior season. And another guy to look at that is really, they're 1A, 1B. Darius DeVero, it's going to be, for my money, I think he's going to be an MVP candidate in the OSBA.
Yeah, he's a floor general. A lot of the times when your dad's a coach, shout out Dave, when your dad's a coach, you're comfortable with the game. The game comes easily to you naturally. You see last year, he was a guy that got all of his guys involved in the offense whenever he could. This year, he's probably going to be relied on to be a bit more of a scorer, but extremely high IQ, awesome defender, takes guys space away, will pick you up 94 feet, can guard anyone, a really good athlete, and his lack of size at 6 feet isn't really going to hurt him with that because he's so aggressive with it. So probably the key to making this engine go.
It's weird. Obviously, Shamar, one of my favorite players to ever walk through these doors. But I think when Darius was in, I think him and Moncrief really had a special connection. I can't count how many highlight reel alley-oops and dunks that I think Darius and Matthew were really in tune with each other. Not that Shamar wasn't, but I just think that, it's one of the things. This guy, he's going to be as good as they come.
Yeah, well, Darius, he's willing to do whatever it takes to win, A, and B, he's a pass-first natural point guard. So a guy like M.A. who's a scorer, they fit perfectly with each other.
You mentioned Darius's father, David, the head coach here at Ryerson, here south of here in Toronto. Previously the head coach at McGill University. So David replaced Roy Rana at Ryerson, who's gone on to be an assistant for the Sacramento Kings down in the NBA.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, not only Orangeville providing great players, and we got to shout out some of the coaches that have come through these doors that are now moving on to some other stuff. So I know we got to shout out Manny D, because I know he was both ringing up you and I in our DMs going, make sure you shout me out. So Manny, now a graduate assistant down at Michigan State under Tom Izzo. Yeah. Huge opportunity for him.
Yeah, he's big time now. He's too big for us here in Mono, Ontario, but shout out Manny, my guy.
And of course, Brandon Enos, who's in the gym here. And Brandon's going to be going down to Beaumont, Texas. working down there, and as well, we got Jeremy Pope out of here, who's down in Arizona. What's the prep school he's at?
Arizona Compass, which I saw last year, one of the top prep schools in the States. They have an unbelievable amount of high major guys, so both of them are at places where they can look to make the next step in their career, potentially be, NCAA assistants and move up from there.
There's Kenyon Brown Sterling out there, number 3, one of the guys that wasn't with the Orangeville squad last year, he was on one of the AI Blacks. So last year, a bit of a change. This year, they're only going with one squad, Orangeville Prep. The past 2 seasons, they had Orangeville Prep, Athlete Institute Red, Athlete Institute Black. Orangeville Prep being basically the A squad, and then some of the younger guys with the AI Red and Black. So they've scrapped the 3 teams, now just down to 1. In previous years, they had 2 teams. So going back to the years when it was Lugens Dort, he played with Athlete Institute. Ignas Brzdikis with the New York Knicks was one of the Orangeville Prep guys. So that's one of those teams that could have been one of the greatest teams ever in Canadian history, but they split them in 2. So they're sort of consolidating resources this year. Only the Orangeville Prep squad this season.
Right. Well, yeah, to talk about Kenyon as well, a guy that's, a long wing that's really developing. I think this year you could see already the way he's talking to the guys in the practice. He has the confidence of playing with high-level guys for enough time that, he's going to look to impose himself a little more. He's got really soft touch. He's got a really good stroke and also a good finisher. But, maybe we'll look for opportunities to be more aggressive this year, where obviously he has the skill for it, and now you can see he's a lot more comfortable with the higher-level guys.
Well, Kenyon started at Rise Prep and then came up here to Athlete Institute last year. So one of the things I think we should get out of the way is some of the health protocols. Now, obviously, for those unfamiliar, Orangeville Prep, we are a good hour, 15, 90 minutes north of Toronto. Quite frankly, we're in the middle of nowhere. And it's always amazing that, the talent level here, but this gym is in the middle of nowhere. The dorms, everything isolated, so all the players, coaches tested initially in August, tested again. Obviously, everything clear and healthy, but everything, they're living in a bubble. These dorms here, no one gets in and out. They got their own chefs on site, everything. So
I'll tell you this, it makes me feel comfortable. I'm someone living with my family. They talked about getting tested initially, getting tested 4 or 5 days later. Everybody came back negative. Everybody's good. They actually have a high-level player that's coming, Tyree Fortney from the States, that's in quarantine right now. Obviously, you got to be in quarantine for 2 weeks. But also, the coaches wear a mask outside of their practices. Nobody has even thought to come near me, to be honest. So, it's a comfortable setting that we're in where they can operate.
So I think let's go down to Tony right now. If Mark can get down to Tony in the huddle, we can get a better listen to what they're saying.
Understood. Hands in. Let's go. Who got me? All right, y'all do 1, 2, 3. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Don't cheat it. On that line, play the whistle. Play the whistle.
Get the guys running. This is one thing I don't see enough of. Obviously, I'm coming from soccer world as well and working hockey, everything. But I don't think there's not enough sprinting. I see basketball guys come out and they kind of do their warm-up, but you don't see guys going full sprint, head to toe, getting warmed up. The only one guy I used to see do that was Daniel Sacchi, now down at Valparaiso, one of my favorite players ever to walk through the store, obviously on one of the opposing squads. But he really, just watching him sprint around this gym was eye-opening.
Well, he was quick as all hell, obviously. But my dad always said, you get in shape to play, you don't play to get in shape. So you have to get used to that speed of the game. So, if you're going to be sprinting up the court trying to beat your opponent down the floor for transition or whatever, it's important to be in shape, to practice sprinting and practice every level, because you're going to need pace in the half court, but you're going to need sprints in transition.
There's Justin Chase at the free throw line, 6'6" small forward out of Toronto, was up here at Athlete Institute, played for AI Black last year, averaged just under 8 points a game. He had flashes of, whoa, it was like quiet for parts of the game, and then there was moments where you're like, ooh, this guy could be something.
Yeah, again, it's got to be hard for young guys. It's a little intimidating playing for Orangeville Prep, where you have Moncrief, let's say, who's probably an NBA prospect, and you're the new guy. But I actually found him at a Ontario basketball tournament He was playing for the Scarborough Blues. Shout out Scarborough Blues. And
see, I'm Scarborough born and raised, so anything Scarborough, I'll support. Go ahead.
There you go. Yeah, no. So I have fun, finding hidden gems in the smaller gyms, and he really stood out. And lo and behold, I show up to Orangeville one day, and he's there. So obviously a young player with great athletic ability, can shoot it already. No limit to a guy like that, to how good he can be. You see, he's already got some ball skills, so he's a really intriguing young guy.
Just in a class of 2023, so plenty of time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So this is the 5-on-5 shell drill. Is that what they would call this?
Well, more than a shell, they're just looking to get into a little bit more of their offense. I think the shell is more about getting their movement right. I think this is more about running their offense, trying to get a feel for where the opportunities are going to be, what kind of offense they're going to run, and getting the ball moving side to side. And you'd be surprised just in terms of actually passing it for no apparent reason other than getting the ball around the three-point line, how valuable that can be in terms of a thought process of getting the ball moving, making the defense rotate and turns into opportunities. It comes to you naturally in a game. You'd be surprised at how that works.
Well, another guy, talk about had a few wow moments. Number 2 with the ball right now is Justice Gordon, another one of the guys with, was he AI Red or AI Black last year, and had moments of brilliance. I posted a couple highlights on him, a couple games where he really showed out. He's not afraid to attack the basket.
Yep.
He's a really good athlete, and this is a guy that I like to really hopefully take that next jump this season.
Yeah, this should be his year. Another guy that came from TRC. In terms of all the tools you're looking for as a scout, long wing, can play on or off the ball, fluid. Actually, I was at a Canada basketball camp a while ago, and he really stood out to me in terms of his ability to process the game, attacking downhill. Good athlete. I think number 1 for him is maturing. Maturing as a person, but B, maturing in his decision making as, okay, the game's going to slow down a little as he attacks the basket, waiting for his opportunities within the offense, figuring out, who exactly I am, how am I going to get my game off, no matter what, with a lot of these higher level guys here on the floor. But certainly, again, has all the tools that I look for and a player that I like in a combo, and we'll see how the season, whatever basketball we have pans out.
So also out there, number 0 is Jalik Dunkley Distance. So Jalik, last year as a grade 9, as a 14-year-old, playing with the main Orangeville squad, and didn't get a ton of minutes, but when he came in, really eye-popping athleticism. I mean, this guy, some real highlight reel dunks. He's a real player. Now, it's funny, he reminds me a little bit of when I first came up here a few years ago, and they had a grade 10 kid named Matthew Alexander Moncrief, and he was this skinny kid with these huge dangly arms, and Tony McIntyre and some of the other coaches say, hey, wait till you see this kid. And in that first year, you're like, he didn't play a lot, and then he would get in a big dunk here and there. You're like, oh, maybe this kid could be something. And then you see what Matthew was last year, probably the best player in the country. And so I think they have similar hopes for Jalik over the next couple of years.
Yeah, last year, anytime you would see him in the game, he wasn't afraid to impose himself, which is unbelievably rare for a guy playing with players 4 years older than them, And you see right here, I mean, his shot looks pretty good. He's pretty athletic. He's totally capable. He has the ball skills. But most of all, again, is the confidence. The confidence to be a player. You could see the guys really, wanted to include him in everything. He's long, he's athletic, he's talented. But again, most of all is that mentality that I'm not just in the game here to be a role guy. I'm going to impose myself on the game. And in terms of potential, I mean, you would think he's probably going to be a high major type guy, and there's just no limit to how good he could be.
We've got Coach Patrick Falduti out there directing things, and if 50% of the players coached with the intensity of Patrick, this team would go 100-0 every single season.
He's the man. If you watch his Instagram accounts, he's always running. I would call it motivational. I told him it's motivational because every day, no matter what, he's got his routine and he's sticking to it. He's obviously in unbelievable shape, so you got to respect someone that's got that work ethic.
So I've been running about 5 days a week since March. So I got a son who's pretty good soccer player. He got his first university offer this week, so he's a class of 2021. Awesome to see. So during this, the whole lockdown thing, I was like, we got to get out running, So I was like, if I come with him the first few times, we're out running in that cold -8, 9, and then he caught the bug, and so now it's helped him stay in shape. And obviously me, I've sort of no treadmill, no ellipticals. I get out there and pound the pavement about 5 days a week. It's been good.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a different world. I canceled my gym membership. I'm sure everyone did stuff like that. It's not safe being around people, so you got to find your own way. And it's funny that you say that. To me as a scout, you see which guys are really serious about their basketball career based on what they're doing when they have nothing. You can go do push-ups on the floor. You can stretch. There's tons of information available online to be able to do sprints, runs, whatever it is you need to do. So I think that's a place where guys show what they're really made of.
Yeah, I remember back in probably about April, I interviewed Bruce Weber, head coach down at Kansas State, and they've got Casey Ziagu, transfer from UTEP, and he was saying that he was having a hard time getting Casey motivated to get out and run. I said, well, you tell him you just talked to a guy who's in his 40s, 20 pounds overweight, and he's out running in this cold. So he was like, all right, that should get him going.
Yeah, whatever motivation you need.
Yeah. I'll plug my own site, undraftedfreeagent.com. I was going, obviously I've interviewed probably close to about 100 NCAA Division I head coaches over the past 2 or 3 years. And then once kind of all the season being halted, I kind of stepped away and was like, well, I'll just focus my time on soccer until these guys figure out if they're going to play or not. So finally, it looks like NCAA's got their start time, and sometime around Thanksgiving, it looks like they're going to get rolling.
Yeah,
with the football playing, gives me a lot more hope.
Well, that's where a lot of it comes from. The football gets going, the basketball will get going. So, hopefully, as long as they stay safe, everything goes well.
So far, really enjoyed watching some of the college football first couple of weeks.
Oh, I haven't watched any. I'm all basketball all the time. I mean,
you
see that dunk.
So that's Justin Chase right there on cue talking about him.
Right. And, to go along with that, Darius DeViro has been feeding his guys over and over in the right situations. He hit Majumbu in a pop before. He hits the roller there. He's always aware. The game comes easily and quickly to him. He's never looking to make a selfish play, never looking to take an extra dribble, which you can really appreciate as a coach when, you're pushing the ball, he's going to get the ball ahead. And as well on the half court, he's going to get your shooters involved. He's going to get everyone the ball where they like it, like he did right there for Justin Chase to show his athleticism for everyone watching. He's a special type of athlete.
So a couple of newer guys, Wilson Dubinsky, number 6 out there in red. New player up at Orangeville from Ottawa.
Yeah, the guys, Ottawa has a rep. It's not just Carleton, it's University of Ottawa, and everyone when they're younger as well. They teach basketball the right way, make the right team decision, not, score my points. And I would say Wilson is the epitome of that. He's a dog. He's a guy that wants to go score, but also D up everyone. And I know in the past, I think he's led the CYBL in scoring for his age. So he's been able to adapt to whatever role, like we talked about Lou Dort, to whatever role that's been given to him. He can play the one as a facilitator. He can be a scorer on or off the ball, and he's willing to defend. He's just that dog-type mentality, So he's just a winning player to me. He's what I would call a West Brown player.
So Jefferson Monegro with the steal there, number 4 in white, another one of the new players up here at Orangeville. So obviously I'm getting familiar. I'm just heading into my 5th season, so a lot of these guys new to me, getting familiar with them as well. It's a good opportunity to do so.
No, for sure. I mean, every opportunity as well for me as a scout. Of course, I've seen probably almost all of these guys, but you never know how they're going to look in a different setting. You see Justin here looking to impose himself a little more. Maybe he comes back with a little more confidence that, he can be the man. Or, a guy's given a different role. For example, Darius was much more of a facilitator last year. He knows he's got to score more. This year there's going to be, he's got the keys. Last year they were running 3 true point guards. Well, there's 1. So let's see how each guy adapts to their new role. And that's really, as a scout, how you figure these things out, because if you're projecting a guy, you want to make sure that, they don't think they're a superstar, that they know exactly who they are. And when you see guys succeed in different roles, that they're not going to make selfish decisions. They're going to make team decisions.
So number 11, Majambu Mbike with the last basket. Another new player up here. There's Dubinsky.
Yeah.
Big three.
Another assist to Darius. You know, a great attack and find and in hitting him in rhythm. Wilson doing what he does. He's a good shooter and knocked it down.
All right, Mark, let's go into Tony now in the huddle.
Okay. Keep the talking up. Keep the enthusiasm up. I like it. Let's go. Hard work on three. Hard work on three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Down and back.
That was tough.
We ready?
Go back to some sprints here. Keep the tempo up. You know, I will say it looks like it's a much younger team than in years past. You know, sometimes you come, like one of my guys, Joe Jones, here the past couple of years, like Joe's a man.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a little bit of that missing this year, but
Yep.
definitely replaced with a little bit more youth and athleticism.
Well, my thing in basketball is always you need an opportunity to play through mistakes and also to play up. You know, you get kicked in the mouth a little and you see how you react. You know, my example for that is always DeMar DeRozan. He wouldn't have become, I mean, he couldn't shoot coming out of universities at USC. He goes to the Raptors. He gets a chance to start and play through all of his mistakes, figure it out a little, and, you know, 5 years later, he's a star. So for a lot of these young guys, right, and they have some really high-level young guys, like Jalik and Justin, you know, long, athletic, skilled, and, you know, developing confidence now. There's a great opportunity for them to step in the future and be the guys while still maintaining, you know, a great, you know, core that they have right now, which is, you know, 7 or 8 young, older guys, juniors and seniors that are ready to win.
All right, let's see what the coaches are chatting about now here in the huddle.
Okay. Just like instructing. He's got the whistle. You don't.
Can you give me a hot five, brother?
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Been up for a minute.
All right, so let's just stay with it. Hey, so we're going 5-on-5, 5-on-5 build, and then we're going into the shooting groups. Okay, so you're going to get them going. Let's make sure that we get it in, count that down real quick, right? 20, 19, 18, and get right into it so we stay on track. Okay, good work. Let's go. Good stuff, here we go. We're going 5-on-5 build, okay? So we're going down here. Let's go red down here, white down here. Let's start with free throw at this side. Understood? Let's go. Hustle. 10,
Right.
9.
If you're wondering what the cameras are out there on the court, just a reminder, Orangeville Prep, not your regular high school. We're filming a TV show. It's going to be on CBC, which is the national network. It's going to debut, like they said, October, November, I think. I'm going to be on the show. So
Me too.
They're using some of my calls throughout the season, and then they have me sort of re-record a few ad-libs here and there. So I'm just stoked that I'm going to be on IMDb now. I'm going to get my own IMDb page.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
So Rory Stewart at the free throw line. Liking what I'm seeing out of him so far. Big man bringing a lot of energy.
Yeah, so one thing Rory has really improved over the last few years is his shot. He's got a natural stroke, I would say. Here it is again. Tony Mack was telling me he's been nailing threes in this drill, you know, where they're building out from 2-on-1 into 5-on-5 eventually. There's Darius. You see they got a bunch of shooters here. But Rory was hitting back-to-back threes to win the games. And, you know, with that work ethic, he's obviously continuing to improve his post game. And, you know, there's not really a limit. He's a great inside-outside three-level threat. You know, and you see the value also of this kind of drill, advantage basketball. It's great for me as a scout to see how guys process the game. I mean, everything to me as a scout is how quickly you can think the game. It's a mental aspect, and seeing the guys able to take advantage of 2-on-1s, but also 4-on-3s, and it shows how they think. Do they look to attack the rim, or do they look to step out and shoot? Where's their mindset at? So good drill to run, and let's see how they do moving forward.
So Wes Brown, obviously the Monday morning scouting report. If they need to get a hold of you, how do people get a hold of you? Any coaches out there?
Yeah, well, I have my website, nbaprospects.com. Everybody knows me pretty much by Wes over the Monday morning scouting report, but I run the top scouting service in Canada. I cover guys at every level, as most of you probably know, from helping, high school kids get to Canadian colleges as well, U Sport, JUCO, NCAA, and even the NBA. So I really try to help guys get to whatever level fits them best. And, this is a great opportunity. And moving forward, this might start a new way of doing live streams and talking about the players so that, the American coaches can A, see them, but B, get a little bit more info from me on their level and, age and what type of player they are and project to be.
Mabike missed on his 3 attempts. Rory Stewart picks that up. Stewart for 3, short on that attempt.
Yeah, but you can see, again, the mentality. Look how aggressive he is. He's not afraid to shoot it. Anytime he gets an opportunity, he lets it go. And you can see there as a help defender as well. Last year I thought his awareness and help was pretty damn good, and he was there early, but just needed to maybe get his body a little more right. As you can see, he looks like he's leaned out a lot. And, as that comes, his ability to protect the rim will improve, and he's really an intriguing guy, a skilled player that, can help a lot of teams win. Keyword, yeah.
Aaron Abunabi hit the 3 there. Aaron, up here last year, played for Athlete Institute Black.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron stood out as one of the best shooters you'll see anywhere. The thing was, I didn't realize how young he was. He was starting and playing confidently for AI. He was obviously one of the better shooters they had, and wasn't afraid to impose himself again. Another young guy that, has no fear. And when I found out, I believe he's a 24 or so, I was really impressed because he's already got the confidence to look to be aggressive in the offense.
I think he's a 23.
23, 23. And he has a great stroke and, projects as a elite level shooter, but more than that as well, because, you could see he ran ball screens and stuff last year and was pretty comfortable in it as well.
Sterling fouled by Dubinsky, but I don't see a ref out there. So.
Well, there you could see a bit of Wilson's strength. He's got that strong build. He's able to knock guys off.
Monegro.
There's Jefferson, a definite high major talent for me, one of my favorite young prospects. Real athlete, but the shot has really improved. And in talking to a number of his former coaches, they talked about his work ethic. He's relentless, whether it's practice or anything. He's a team leader. He makes sure that egos are being rubbed, but at the same time, keeping his guys in check. And I think he's tough on himself, and he's a true leader. And with him, he's a guy I don't think there's a limit to how good he can be. He's just looking to learn more. He's more of a scoring guard and looking to figure out how to balance his scoring and playmaking. I think, that's the only thing he really needs to work on, because his shot has really come a long way and his athleticism is through the roof.
Well, Justice Gordon with another 3 there just a minute ago. Sterling. And there's Jalik. And nice feet inside.
Great dump off.
There's Monegro again.
There you saw Jalik's ability to process the game, whether or not there was a charge, looking for his guy inside, looking to make the right play rather than take that floater, which was less of a guaranteed bucket than the reverse.
Well, Jalik looks like he's grown a few inches since the end of last year.
Yeah, it's funny, you come back a year later, sometimes guys change their hair, sometimes guys grow a few inches. You never know what you're going to see. But, he's very long and a young, intriguing prospect for sure.
No one out there wiping the floor, so it looks like the coaches and players are... here we go. We finally got someone with the Swiffer.
All right, here we go. Let's see if he can hit these.
Ooh!
Oh, Majumbu was looking for the alley-oop, but Justin said forget it.
There you go. Second time's a charm, Justin Chase.
And here we have Enoch.
Enoch Kalambe.
Yeah.
Rory Stewart short on that one again.
Enoch, lefty scorer out of the Ottawa area, and another guy that is a really great scorer that they recruited. A 3-level lefty scorer, that has this aggression to him that, just can't be bottled. He's one of those guys that that's always attacking the rim aggressively, always looking for a shot aggressively. Really improved his shot in recent years, but always attacking the rim. And it's funny, a random coach was telling me, there was a Canadian kid we played that defended the hell out of our best guy. We were trying to figure it out, and we realized that it was Enoch. And so he's a tough, another high-level player, high-level NCAA type player that, his legs are a little out. He doesn't look like he runs the floor. The second he touches the ball, you see that level of aggression, his skill. He's one of my favorites because he plays so hard and attacks, at an elite level of aggression.
So we also just saw Janai Dunkley distant out there, number 10. Janai, the twin brother of Jalik.
Yeah.
Janai up here didn't get a ton of playing time last year, but liking what I'm seeing in the first few minutes here.
Yeah, another young guy, with unlimited potential. And, the funny thing from a scouting perspective is you just never really know how these guys are going to turn out. Some guys will be, like, as an example, Anthony Davis, who was, I believe, 6 feet earlier in, a point guard early in his high school career. A few years later, he's 6'11". So, you just don't know how these guys are going to grow and develop. So, his brother, already a high-level player, he projects to probably be the same, but we'll see how that goes. But, you never know if he's going to be the guy that grows to 6'10" at the same time.
There's Monegro there with the finish. And we're seeing, that was got to be a travel, yeah. So Jaden Samara Sakara, number 13 in red, is a young man from Hong Kong. So that's 2. Who would he have? We had David Muka here the year before.
At Lamar.
Who's now down at Lamar playing under Tick Price.
Yeah, great.
The second guy from Hong Kong.
Yeah. He was a great rim runner and shot blocker. I believe he led the OSBA in blocked shots.
Yep.
Just to comment right there on Majumbu with the aggressive take, you can see his level of athleticism. It's so easy for him to get off the floor. Another high major athlete type player. And there we saw him, attack the rim aggressively. And it's such a skill in and of itself.
Oh, Dunkley distant with the blocks.
Great dunk. Great block by Jalik there. But back to Majumbu, it's such a skill in itself to attack the front of the rim. A guy like Lou Dort attacks the front of the rim very aggressively. He looks to dunk on you. He doesn't look to finesse a finish around you. You can see. So Majumbu having that level of aggression and athleticism is really elite. It's hard to find.
Monegro long 2. Stewart in there with the rebound, baseline jumper. Rory short on his last 3 attempts.
Yeah, but I love his looks. I like how aggressive he's being. I have no problem with those shots. He's proven he can make those shots. So, just refining that is it. Other than that, you got to trust him.
Monegro playing tight D.
Yeah.
Chase foot on the line.
Yeah.
Let's go to Tony here as he brings the players in.
There we go.
Hey guys, a couple things. One, we're playing the clock, right? So we have a clock right now, right? Rory, right? Bad shot selection. Were you guys up or down? You were up 2-1, right? With 20 seconds left. What could happen there? You set up for last shot. You gave them last shot for a chance to tie. You understand? So time and score, right? I know we're doing the drill, but we still got to be recognizing basketball plays. You understand? So especially at the end of shot clock, okay? Good job getting on the floor. Good job taking dives. Let's stay working, stay focused, okay? Here's where we're going right now. We're going to our shooting groups of 3 right now. Okay, 2 balls in each group. Let's get to your spots. Same spots as yesterday. Got it?
Yo, I got you guys. Hard work on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hard work. Good job. Let's go. 10, 9.
So get back to some of the alumni in years past. Obviously, we've talked about Jamal, Lou Gansdort, Thon Maker, of course.
I don't think we've talked about Jamal enough.
Well, we've got a couple hours to go.
Very good.
Thon Maker, the man with the best running drop kick in the NBA. I don't know if you saw that. It's Australia and I think the Philippines in international, and there was a brawl.
I remember that brawl.
And then Thon comes from out of nowhere with like a flying judo kick. It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Wow, I didn't think that was in him. Everybody talked about how high of a character kid he was, how great of a worker.
I thought it would be
Jamal. Like Jamal has the karate skills. I know Jamal's a high-level karate fighter, but
and of course Mature Maker, played with the Houston Rockets, and then, of course, O'Shea Brissett, Toronto Raptor.
Yep.
Got some good minutes this year, O'Shea.
Yeah, he really did. Again, a guy that learned to play his role. Rebounded the hell out of the ball. Knew who he was. Floor spacer, rebounder, played hard. And he ends up making the team.
So one thing I will say, Wes, I'll pump your tires. So you got me in a little trouble. So I was going to say, I also work soccer, the Canadian Premier League, new soccer league. I was covering that. And one thing, I have a son that plays in soccer, essentially what this is, the highest level. And I haven't seen a lot of scouts out. So I kind of was slagging. I'm like, I follow Wes on Twitter. Wes is in a gym 6 nights a week, and on the 7th night he's watching video. And it's like, just everywhere. And I see, especially in basketball, how many jackets, how many baseball caps from every university. I've seen Jim Boeheim in this gym, John Calipari, Patrick Ewing, the Michigan State staff, Seton Hall staff, week after week. And when it comes to the soccer, I just not seeing these guys out it, and that's what I'm like. I'm kind of holding the standard. I'm like, well, I see Wes out. Why aren't these guys at the same soccer field? And so your work ethic got me in a little trouble because I wrote all these great articles about the players, and then I finally write one where I'm like kind of crapping on, hey, there's better players out there. You're not finding them.
Oh, that's good.
And got a whole bunch of CPL scouts all on me, and I'm like, go look at Wes's Twitter. I look at your timeline. I don't see you at any fields. But go look at Wes. He's in the gym 6 nights a week. So
I'm honored.
There you go. Yeah.
Look, you got to do the job to the best of your ability. No matter what, you got to see as many guys as many times as you can. You never know what time you'll see something that stands out. I'm also, I would say, a little insane.
Yeah.
And I just know I'm going to do what I have to do to make it in this business. So I appreciate the shout out, my man.
That's one thing. This, I was at basketball in Ontario. These kids, they're going to get the opportunity. If you're good enough, you'll be seen.
100%.
And there's no, hey, I'm good enough. I didn't get the chance. If you're playing in the OSBA or anywhere in Ontario, really, you're good enough. You'll get your chance.
For sure. Well, forget me. There's enough faces around here that can help with that stuff. But across the country, that's what I try to instill in kids and let them know. Now obviously I can't be in every gym across the country. I've driven to Montreal, and I'll drive wherever I have to. I'm gonna fly at some point when I need to, but I'm watching YouTube videos. Trust me, I've watched live streams from Calgary. Shout out to the Willets there. I'm excited to watch. I've talked to the Edge guys there about seeing their stuff, seeing North Star, seeing teams from across the country. I know the Drive guys are streaming stuff on Sunday. So, I want kids to know that we're here watching, and I'm not sure there's many guys like me around the country. Nonetheless, I'm here watching, trying to do my job to the best of my ability to help all the American guys say, if there's a player in Canada, we're not going to miss it. I'm going to see them. I'm going to evaluate them. I'm going to know how good they are, and I'm going to let you know about them, and also give you their contacts and everything so that you can recruit them. So, again, it's a weird time, but we have to make do with what we have. That's why this is a great opportunity for all of us. And that's what it is. It's a new world, and find a way to get seen and help kids out.
Well, it's a great opportunity here for the coaches to see what's going on. I write articles, and I've written over the past couple of years, and I always mention, hey, I'm the play-by-play guy for Orangeville and Athlete Institute, and there isn't a single coach that I've spoken to that's like, what is that? Every single one of them, they all know. Yeah,
oh, for sure. You look at the guys, they've had 7 guys that are NBA players or prospects. It's a hard name to miss. They go have a schedule all throughout the States. They play in a lot of the top tournaments I've gone and scouted at as well. It's great for them. At the same time, there's so many programs that, don't have the money or exposure like they do. This has annually been one of the top programs, and that's where I try to step in and say, hey, again, if you're good enough wherever you are, I'm going to find you. I'm going to try to help you get recruited and help my teams land really good players, whether you're Canadian or Danish or from anywhere in the world. The key is to find talent.
So just my early impressions here, Jefferson Monegro, really, really like what I'm seeing out of him. It's my first time getting a look at him. That's one guy that's really jumping out of me. And, of course, Rory Stewart. I've seen him over the past couple of years in this league. Know what he is, but curious to see where he can take his game. Rory reminds me, he's like a mix of Kyler Filowich and Ben Hendricks, who came through this program for 4 years. Ben down at Ball State had a great freshman campaign. with Ball State, playing in the really tough MAC conference. And I think Rory is somewhere in between those two guys. But both, Division I guys got to think he's going to get his chance too.
No, I think so. I mean, I think I think there's going to be a lot of interest in him. A lot like Kyler. He's a skill big. Definitely has a better stroke. Probably not as good of a passer. Kyler, man, I loved Kyler. He was an unbelievable passer. He always made the right play. But, almost to a fault because he was such a good passer. He was pass first as a big, which you almost never see, which I love because he's going to make the right decision every time. But you can see Rory is looking to shoot it and be aggressive. I love that aggression. And, you watch him shoot it here. He's got a natural stroke. He's got soft touch. He's only going to build out from there. At some point, hopefully, we'll get to see his post stuff because he is a skilled post guy. And a little back to what you're saying about Jefferson Monegro, he's a really good jump shooter, really good mid-range shooter. He showed a bit of that here. I think from the three was where he was working on, and as you can see, it's gotten a lot better. But you put that athletic potential with, a little decisiveness, three-level scoring in the shot. I mean, there's no limit.
So thanks for joining us here on the Athlete Institute live stream. I'm Chris McKee, joined by Wes Brown. So, listen, this is my 5th season up here doing the play-by-play. I've also called games for CBC Sports and TSN Radio across Canada, both pro basketball in Canada and pro volleyball.
This is my first appearance on a mic outside of the Fan 590. We're doing podcasts and things like that with my man Blake Murphy or whoever else. Having fun here, Chris.
Cool. Well, I'm also a traffic reporter for some of the biggest radio stations here in Toronto, Newstalk 1010.
You got that voice.
That's it. And then also I do TSN 1050 and Flow 93.5 as well.
Okay.
A couple other fill-in things there. So basketball, my passion. Traffic is what's paying the bills. So.
That's great, man. I'm lucky to say that after a few years, my parents wanted to get rid of me. I have basketball paying the bills.
Nice.
But while we're talking about our stuff, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes Blair Brown. Obviously, I'm not in a gym like I was, like Chris was saying, every day. But nonetheless, I definitely post a lot of content of the Canadian guys. I hope it's not annoying. Nonetheless, I cover all of the players, and we'll post videos here and there of when I'm at workouts. Also, you can follow me on Instagram at Wes B. Brown.
You can check me out on Twitter at Mr. McKee, MRMCKEE, especially during the season. Usually after every game, I'll interview 2 or 3 players, mix it in with some highlights. I know quite a few of those kids. It's funny going back. I had to scroll through my Twitter timeline like I was sitting at work and just bored and went through some of my old tweets. And you see, videos that I thought, maybe me and Ignas Brzdeikis that had 300 views the week it came out. You go back, look now, it's at like 4,000 because different Michigan fans or New York Knicks fans have gone and found these videos sort of years later.
Oh, the fans are junkies. Like, I have tons of these accounts. For example, when I post about Tyrese Samuel or Jeff Ngannou now, I have a Seton Hall fan account, I believe, that likes a lot of my stuff and, that follows me. You see they all have these fan accounts when you start posting about these players. It's funny how that stuff kind of spreads.
I got quite a few Division I coaches following from all the interviews I've done over the years, so
that's great.
I always get the odd message here and there, hey, what's the deal with that guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I know that. Trust me. I get a lot of, hey, Wes, have you heard of this kid? And it's pretty much a daily occurrence. I probably get 20 texts a day at least. What do you know about this kid? How good is this kid? Whatever. You never know how guys are going to hear names. So that's funny how that works.
Let's see. We're going to bring it in the middle. No. Oh, wait, it doesn't look Tony's bringing him in. See, one thing I can honestly say is I'm batting 1,000 as far as kids that I've seen that I'm like, that kid's a mid-major player, that kid's a Canadian University player, and he's a high-major player. I'm batting 1,000 so far. There's not one kid that I've said, hey, that kid should be there. There's 1 or 2 kids, not from this program, but from some of the other OSBA programs that have gone to high majors, and I'm like, He's a mid-major player. He shouldn't be going there. And sure enough, one season transfers down to mid-major. So I'm getting pretty good at this.
Take my job.
Yeah.
We'll switch seats. I'll go home. You could do the work.
I'm getting all right. Yeah.
There you go.
So Coach Patrick out there, he's got the see, my family's from Liverpool, England, and in the north of England, that's like the style. You got the track pants with the socks, the track pants tucked into the socks. Anyone in like Manchester, Liverpool, that's the style up there.
Well, he's trying to keep up with the kids. You know, everyone's got their own style these days. Everyone's copying whoever it is, whether it's Kanye or whatever. So, you know, he's hip with it.
There's DeVero out there. Love Darius's hair. So it makes him hard to miss out there. I think it's important. You got to have something that kind of sets you aside. I remember my son told me that. He went to a showcase tournament down in Indiana, and he dyed his hair for I said, what do you do? And he goes, well, I need something the coaches to remember me by. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, it makes sense. Yeah.
Smart. Any way to get yourself seen. I mean, Darius's game does the talking, that's for sure. Nonetheless, as you see him hit another three, he's been shooting it pretty well, I've seen, after working on his shot, you know, all summer. But yeah, you know, any reason to be seen. It's funny you say that. I mean, I wear a red big Maple Leaf shirt around everywhere. It's not a fashion statement. It's everybody recognizes that red Canada shirt that I'm the Canadian guy, you know? So it's true. Any reason to get yourself seen or noticed is a good opportunity.
There's Stewart again with Jalik Dunkley distant.
Yeah, so here they're trying to hit 33 threes in 3 minutes. That's their drill, I believe.
33 threes in 3 minutes.
Rory knocking down another.
Who's keeping track? Who's keeping track is what I want to know.
I'm sure they're doing it on the side. You know, usually this is a drill for the players to be screaming it out. Now that we're on the mic, I'm not sure we are missing out on something. But, you know, it's an opportunity for them to get their voice heard. There's so much basketball where you can't hear the guys, you know, and so you don't know what you're in defensively. You know, you don't know what you're running necessarily offensively. You know, the being loud is such a skill, a learned skill that most guys don't have, you know, and the communication is such a key aspect, obviously, of basketball. It's right up there. I mean, I don't know who's doing it, but they have to score. They're at 21. Oh, that's two.
You're talking about that. I seen a great tweet from Dylan Enos yesterday. I took a screenshot, sent it to my son. So he says, crazy story I got to share. I remember in Canada the first day I met Jamal Murray and his dad. Open gym, played 5-on-5. He was 15. We played for hours. His dad plays too. He kept yelling at Jamal like it was a game 7. And he said then after that they worked out for one-on-one for another hour like NBA scouts were watching. He's like, that's the kind of intensity Jamal created, you know, as a 15-year-old, you know, in this gym.
Yeah, well, shout out to my guy Larry Blunt. Larry was telling me, you know, he's got that focus and work ethic, and it's pretty interesting to see how guys develop from a young age. And when you have that type of work ethic and focus, as Darius hits another one, as you have that type of focus, work ethic, you know, those things don't change, and nothing was going to stop him, you know, from a young age from being great. As I think they hit a buzzer beater, or they get at the buzzer.
Rory Stewart, the
there
buzzer.
It is. Yeah. Rory clutch. Yeah, so, you know, Jamal's always had that work ethic, that, you know, me against the world type mentality, and he brings it, his confidence on the court, you know. He's totally decisive. That's a key word, I would say. He's decisive. He's totally confident and decisive, gets to his spots, no fear, knocks it down, you know, doesn't think about missing ever, just thinks about what he can do, and that mentality is everything.
Well, I think Jamal's helped to steal quite a few Raptor fans right now. You know, even myself, Raptors obviously bowing out to Boston. Then you think, oh, well, now it's NFL season. It's like, no. Now it's Denver has become must-watch television.
It's always basketball season. Once the NBA ends, we got college basketball, we got the draft. We have these guys here, you know, so.
See, I watch way more college ball. Like, I'm one of those guys that's like on dodgy streams on a Tuesday night. I'm watching like Air Force versus Wyoming. Like, I will watch, you know, several hundred college basketball games a year.
Well, we're right back to you being a scout.
Yeah.
You're doing whatever you need to do to cross each team off your list.
No.
That's what it's about. If you're an NBA scout, you got to make sure you see every team. You never know what you'll see. It's not about the stats. You know, you got to get your eyes on them. So So you're a pro, Chris. You're a pro.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, you're a pro.
Mention here's Janai Dunkley distant out there, number 10. Samara Sakara, number 13, one of the new guys.
Yep.
Number 30, Tristan Luca, another one of the youngsters new to the program.
Yep.
So I mentioned they're going to go 20 deep this year with the Orangeville squad. So obviously, not a lot. Some of these guys are going to be almost like reserve players. Basically, got to make their impression during practice.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're going to get a chance to develop, and everyone's time is coming. You can't look at it like I'm not getting minutes. Every opportunity is a chance to get better, to play through mistakes, to figure out the game and what your role is in it. So you got to look at it like that and not be hurt by a lack of minutes or whatever it is, and find a way. Everybody gets kicked in the mouth in some way, and you just got to react appropriately. Like, I always say basketball is read and react. Well, life is read and react. Life is about seeing what works, what you're given, and figuring out a way to succeed no matter what.
I feel like now I should start singing a Celine Dion song after that.
I couldn't name one Celine Dion song. I apologize.
My Heart Will Go On, the Titanic
but
song?
I just wouldn't know the name of it.
That's un-Canadian of you, Wes, not to know a Celine Dion song.
Yeah. Well, we got enough other guys, Drake and The Weeknd and Bieber. That's more my generation.
Speaking of that, have you seen the new pop star video? Drake with the Biebs as the guest star. Best video I've seen in a few years.
Legendary, yeah. And the Laugh Now, Cry Later video at the Nike campus.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. Shout out to Mark Bain. That was good. That was really good.
By the way, that's a goal of mine. I want to call a game at Drake's house. He's got the nice court. That's
yes.
Yes.
Let's make that happen.
That's one of my goals.
Let's make that happen.
I saw Steph Curry was there this week.
Yeah, and maybe we'll get a bubble there. Maybe we can get a bubble there.
Yeah.
They'll all live in one of his quarters.
I'll quarantine at Drake's house for 2 weeks.
Exactly. You'll be calling the games, OSBA playoffs, NBA playoffs, whatever it is they need to have there, they should do it.
So one of the things that I don't think people in the United States understand is how kind of the Toronto Raptors, Canada basketball, even the music scene, with Drake and all these guys, Tory Lane, it's kind of all one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're
it's
on
kind
fire.
of mixed into one. I was running a fan-sided Toronto Raptors blog for a couple of years, and I kept writing about Canada basketball with it and some of the stuff, even like Night Crown League. And the guys who ran the site messaged me and said, hey, what are you doing? You can't write about Canada basketball. It's a Raptors blog. I'm like, no, it's all one. Like, they can't understand that.
Right.
It's all sort of...
Scouts now, I'm well connected, and there's people in every area of the game that are building themselves in the Canadian basketball scene even more. So it really is one, and it's weird that at the same time there's so many major artists that have come out of the Toronto area. So we're all just on fire together and building and making a name for ourselves as Jeff hits both free throws.
So speaking of NBA draft Canadians, one guy I'm calling will be a first-round pick that out of this program, Addison Patterson, now down at he's an Oregon Duck. Now, hopefully, the Pac-12 gets it together and let these kids play. But I think if so, Addison, look for him to have a huge year in the Pac-12, and that's a guy I think is going to be shooting up draft boards over the next 12 months.
Yeah, well, it's about opportunity. You need an opportunity to play through mistakes. And he's a guy that's an aggressive scorer. His skill is scoring. So what he needs then is opportunity. Well, if he doesn't have an opportunity to play more than a few minutes and he's not going to get pulled, he knows he's not going to get pulled in those few chances he gets. Then he can be a stud. So it's just going to be about opportunity, I believe. As you see here, Darius and Jeff, talking it over. Those guys are going to be the leaders for the team, I would think. It's great to see the maturity of them, talking to each other and leading. I'm sure they're talking about what types of things they're going to do upcoming in the practice. But yeah, Addison is obviously a high-level talent going to Oregon, one of the top programs, and there's no limit, in terms of his skill. I mean, he's one of the most unbelievable attackers. It's not like he's the greatest athlete on earth. He just knows how to get to the rim with both hands, and he's unbelievable with it. So, yeah, he's got very high potential.
One of my favorite things I've ever seen in this gym was Addy. Obviously he went down to Bella Vista Prep for a season after he left Athlete Institute. But when he was back up here for BioSteel weekend, the BioSteel All-Canadian, and just watching him go one-on. He was challenging every guy in the gym to go one-on-one. We had a bunch of NBA scouts in the gym, and he was just like, okay, at anyone take on any and all comers one-on-one. Everyone's spreading the floor out, and Addy was just torching every single guy, and that's at BioSteel All-Canadian weekend.
Right. Well, that it shows your mentality. You are who you are in every aspect of your life. You see Kobe. You think Kobe would walk in the gym here and not try to go at every guy, right? It's that mentality that that's what's going to live on about him is the dog, the attack everyone, the go after, and that's what Addison has, that mentality, So I hope it helps him at Oregon this season.
I still say, obviously I wasn't here the year Jamal played. I came the year after. But the best player I've seen walk through this gym is Ignas Brzdeikis. I'm not saying what they've become now. I'm saying at this level.
Right.
Iggy's last year here, he literally was putting up 45 with about 4 minutes left in the second quarter, and then he'd go sit down. And it's like he could have, if he wanted to, if Tony played him every game, the full. This is a guy that could have averaged about 50, 55 points a game in his final season here.
Yeah, he's a really, really talented guy. I actually really loved him as a draft prospect because he played his role so well at Michigan. He knew exactly who he was. He was a scoring role player. He was a shooting role player. He was attacking closeouts well. He had a really good stroke. I think he's a better defender than he's given credit for. I think he can guard the 3 and 4, or at least guard 4s, to be honest. He's got that strong build. But he's got an edge to him. Just like Addison, he's got a real edge to him. So again, another guy that I think it's about opportunity. If he has the opportunity, I think he's going to succeed.
Yeah, obviously the Knicks kind of a bit of a shambles. I don't know if that's the best situation for Iggy, so hopefully.
Well, maybe it's an opportunity for him as a young guy to come in and get some minutes and see if he can succeed.
It was cool. I went down, my son and I took a trip. He was going down to a camp at Mercer University, so we made a vacation of it. One of my best friends I grew up in Toronto lives in Manhattan. We stopped in Manhattan. I took my son to Madison Square Garden, and right there, a 20-foot mural on the side of Madison Square Garden, Ignas Brzdeikis. So that's one of the cool things I got to see. Wow. Like, hey, I know that kid.
Yeah, him and RJ Barrett there with the Knicks. RJ had a great rookie season. Shout out him, and unfortunately he didn't make the rookie team. Averaging whatever it was, 13 points a game. A little surprising, but it continues to add to his level of aggression in his story, in that he just wants to prove people wrong, and he's a dog, and he's going to show people that he's got that mentality and skill to be able to prove them wrong over and over again.
Mustafa Vanjav, number 24 from Tajikistan.
Yeah. He spread the floor pretty well in his few minutes. He played for the team last year, obviously very long. A good young prospect for sure.
I had to look up. Do you know where Tajikistan is?
Not a clue.
It is in between Afghanistan and China. I looked this up on a map the other day, so
wow,
there you go.
There's some knowledge for you guys. Justin does a 360 dunk. You could see he's an unbelievable athlete for a young player.
DeVero short on his attempt. Monegro.
Showing some of his athleticism. I believe Tony said he's the best leaper or one of the top few on the team. I didn't need a report to tell me that. You see his athleticism. It's blatant, I think.
Some of the youngsters out here.
Yep.
Gaspar, number 33, a new guy from Nepean. Just outside of Ottawa.
Yeah, some of these young guys getting a first look at them, first chance to see.
Alberto Menendez from Waterloo, one of the new players, number 25.
Okay. Justin putting on for the cameras. There's Wilson again with that corner 3. Lines it up. He's been hitting that, though.
Vanjav. And again, another guy who played with the Orangeville squad last year.
Yep.
Got some. Now, he did get some minutes because you got to think quite a few games, Orangeville, they're up 30 points by half. So he was getting some opportunities last year. That's one of the things I enjoy about calling games up here is, some of the games, a little bit of a blowout, when you've got the talent that they have. So it allows me to sit and talk about music for 30 minutes and not talk about basketball, which is great.
Yeah, or we can tell, now that you've got me here, we can talk about, the kind of added things that a guy like him can bring. As you see that windmill dunk from Majambu, who is just a crazy athlete. But some of the guys just being here, creates a level of intensity kind of at the practices, and at any of the top prep teams around the country. Getting used to a level of intensity, a speed of the game, really helps in your development and being prepared for the next level. And that's the great thing about the whole prep scene, is that it's a professional work ethic, mentality, environment.
Oh,
as you see Jeff, no fear with the throwback.
Monegro
showing
showing out.
Hops. Yeah, showing more of those hops. No fear. And again, a guy like Majambu that attacks the front of the rim, that's a real skill. A lot of guys you see try to finish around. Some guys even are contact finishers. They try to finish through. But a guy that looks to just elevate early and dunk over you, it's a special skill.
Chase, Mabike. Darius, great court vision. Makes everyone on the floor a better player when he's out there. Take the three. Bam. In the words of Gus Johnson, bam.
Yeah, exactly. Gus always called the most epic games. But, Darius, you can see the confidence, the stroke. And part of what you got to look at as a scout is how clean are their makes. Well, I haven't seen him make one make today that's not a swish, So you add that level of shooting with his playmaking ability. He's a point guard that anybody would be lucky to have, And a lot of the times, guys talk to me about what level. I call them winning players. And winning players, no matter what, especially a guy like him that will defend, get everyone the ball in the right spots, can play, I believe, at any level. So there's always levels of athleticism that high major wings essentially will have, but there's a real skill component that's involved, and an IQ that's involved in making winning decisions. And those guys, the guys who make the winning decisions, are guys that will help your team win. To me, no matter what level it is.
And one of the things a moment ago, the two twins having a good battle, Jalik and Janai, and Janai doing enough to disrupt his brother's dunk. I'm really liking what I've seen Janai, because he didn't get a lot of minutes last year, and he looks, Jalik, I think he's in his hops, he can jump out of the gym, but Janai looks a little thicker, looks like he's been putting in some work in that weight room, which is good to see.
Well, everybody's got to figure out what their role is. So, if he doesn't have those types of hops, it's good awareness by him to figure out, Tony said he's a good defender, so figure out how you're going to help the team win.
Do you lift, bro? That's the answer for Janai is
100%.
Damn right.
100%. Wilson with a nice little play there. Driving baseline and
big dunk from Rory Stewart.
Yeah. I really like that Wilson's shown, his ability to penetrate and make plays, but also his ability to space the floor as a shooter. Again, a guy that can succeed in any aspect of the game.
Darius off the back of the rim on that three. So obviously, taking a look around the gym, they've done a rebrand. All the Orangeville logos, this crazy writing to my right, and as well as the backdrop on the left, the entire wall. So they've done a little bit of a refurbish, pumping in some new artwork, and I think they may have to add to the Jamal Murray poster shortly, maybe NBA champ, if we can finish this out.
Yeah, like you were saying, he's got all of Canada behind him. He's been unbelievable. The maturity, getting down whatever they were, 16 to 18 points. Great ball movement there by the boys. Getting down so many points, for a young team led by two younger stars, and still being able to lead the team here and get past those hurdles. A bit of what Kawhi brought to the Raptors is a consistent level. Whether you're up 10 or down 10, you have to understand that the better team is probably going to win the game most times. If you continue to take good shots rather than take immature shots and try to force it. That's what he brings, and that's what they've brought is a maturity at a young age that no matter what, we're going to, keep being aggressive, keep playing our game, and it'll balance out. And, now he's got a big task. First, he's got to go through Kawhi. Now he's got to go through LeBron. It's not going to be easy, but I certainly think they have the talent and maybe better role players than the Lakers may have, but you know, the Lakers might have 2 of the top 3 or 4 guys in the league.
See Jokic, like he came back really slimmed down after the break.
Yep.
It looks really good, but I know Matthew Alexander Moncrief got to go down to the Basketball Without Borders camp last year during NBA All-Star Weekend, and Jokic was one of the guys instructing him, and he said he got to spend some time with him. He said it was a good influence on him.
For sure. I mean, a really high IQ big. You know, they're debating on these games whether or not he's the best passing big of all time, as Justin throws it down again. You know, I mean, whether or not that's the truth, I mean, it doesn't really matter. He's an unbelievable passer, a very high IQ guy. And, you know, those 2 guys, you have, you know, essentially Jokic is more of a passer and Jamal is more of a scorer, despite the fact that one is, you know, 6 inches or more taller than the other. But, you know, it fits together.
Let's go into Tony now in the huddle if we can, Mark.
Got to be a full sprint. Let's beat it. Understood? Let's go. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3. Win. Let's go.
All right, what's this next drill we're working on?
We got 28 layups in 2 minutes, I believe.
28 layups in 2 minutes.
So let's see how quickly these guys can get after it.
This is that sprint, you know, guys, you don't see a lot. Guys sprinting full speed with the ball in hand. You know, I think that's something every single guy's got to improve on.
For sure. I mean, like, you know, you got to learn the skill at every level, in the half court and the full court. And beyond that, again, like we were saying in the half court, you know, just moving the ball side to side, this is another thing that gets you thinking, look up, let's see what we have ahead. Can we get an easy basket? You know, and it keeps guys unselfish. You know, and as a scout, I want to make sure that I trust this guy to make the right team decision. Well, if I see a guy ahead and he looks to dribble when he's got a man close to him, we can evaluate that he's probably selfish. So you're always trying to see their decision making and see how they think. Are they here for themselves, or are they here to make the team better and make a winning decision? So these types of things help build those instincts to move the ball ahead.
So I had a good chance to check out. Thankfully, the NCAA came to Canada this past November at the Naismith, was it the Hall of Fame Classic down at the Scotiabank Arena. I still call it the Air Canada Center.
Yeah, that's right.
Got the chance to check out. It was Tennessee, Washington, Harvard, Buffalo, St. Bonaventure, and Rutgers all in person here in Toronto. Great opportunity.
Yeah, it was. You know, and great FaceTime for me with all those guys. There was actually a Naismith tournament that they ran at Bill Crothers. That was a really good event. Alongside it, so we had a chance to get some coaches in. You know, also some good scouting, getting to see some of the Canadian guys. 3 Canadian players at Harvard. Shout out to Esky there. They have some real, you know, some of the top Canadian talent in Kirkwood, Juricic, and Luka Sakota. So they've done a really good job recruiting the Canadians, and probably a reason they were part of it. And, you know, the teams know that Canada's a hotbed, and, you know, it's smart to get some FaceTime here with the guys, whether it's showing up in the gym for their tournament or just being here and getting that name out, you know, being in Toronto.
Juricic just put his name in the transfer portal this week.
Yeah, well,
I saw a tweet on that.
Yeah, that's as much about the Ivy League not knowing if they're going to have any basketball, you know. So if he finishes his schooling, you know, he needs to go somewhere. I know he's got a ton of interest from a ton of really high-level teams. He can pretty much go wherever the hell he wants. Yeah. So we'll see where he ends up going, but he's a great shooter and a great player, long athlete.
Let's see if we can go into the huddle with Tony if we can.
First roll, second roll. Okay, so first roll, or first cutter, second cutter. Okay, and then the next time you go, first roll, second roll. Understood? Yes, Coach. Okay, let's run it. Hey, we'll run it red, white, and black, and we'll rotate black through red and white about a couple times through. Understood?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Baseline, let's go. If you don't want to go, don't go.
Yeah, because I don't really understand the rule.
Yeah, you're good, you're good.
So I mentioned the TV show. It's going to be called Anyone's Game, coming out on CBC this fall. And, you know, I've had the chance to check out the Prolific Prep show that's on Overtime.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, they got a TV show. I had the chance to interview Joey Fuka, who's the head coach at Prolific a couple months back. Great dude. Obviously, Jalen Green, a number of other high-level prospects out of there. And I know in the CBC, because I had the chance to see some of the footage, there's the game that Orangeville played against Prolific. So it's the two TV shows combining.
For sure. We're one of the top teams here and one of the top teams there. I mean, they had Jalen Green is an out-of-this-world prospect, out-of-this-world athlete. He's got IQ as well to go along with it and a smooth stroke. People told me earlier, he had a problem with the shot or something. I mean, I watched tape. I didn't think so at all. I mean, I think he's going to be a superstar. I got to be honest.
Yeah, you got to check out that. It's just for free. It's on YouTube, Overtime. I watched a couple episodes in prep for interviewing Joey, and I enjoyed it. It's pretty good.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
Now,
that's awesome.
I talked to him about that. You can kind of see some of the kids liking being on camera a little bit too much. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's where
Jalen, not one of those guys, but some of the others.
Right. Well, that's where you get another chance to evaluate a guy in a different setting, and this is why you have to always be in the gym. You just never know what you're going to end up seeing.
Now, keep in mind, there's a difference between Overtime and CBC. That's our publicly funded broadcasting.
Yes.
I would imagine the tone of the show. And there's Jalik Dunkley distance. My goodness.
You see Jalik and Justin showing out, two of their younger guys that, they're around freshmen or sophomores. They have unbelievable potential on both of those guys. But like you were saying, with CBC having a show, again, we're all building together. It's another opportunity for this level to get seen. My dad will message me daily, like, Wesley, I saw a 7-footer that, can shoot the three on your Instagram today. Like, where did these guys come from, But everybody grows up these days here wanting to become a basketball player. It's really popular. Obviously, again, the Raptors and guys getting drafted and Orangeville and all the levels, basketball is everything. There's so many more kids, and as a result of there being so many more kids, there will be so many more prospects and high-level guys. And it's I think I picked the right niche at the right time. I'll tell you that much, man.
Absolutely. Growing up in my day, obviously I played hockey at a pretty high level. The GTHL, which is the top minor hockey association, basically in the world. And, we talked about scouting. Me playing at that, I remember being 11, 12 years old and looking up in the stands in all those arenas and seeing the OHL scouts, other teams scouting, and being intensely evaluated from a really young age. And I think the basketball is definitely coming that way. I mean, just the growth of it. Growing up, you played soccer or baseball in the summer, and then you played competitive hockey in the winter.
Right.
That's it. I mean, there was the odd high school basketball and stuff like that. Guys like Rowan Barrett, the senior, Greg Francis and guys like that.
Right.
But now there's just hundreds and hundreds of guys coming out of these gyms, not necessarily even Orangeville.
Yeah.
You look at guys like Kobe Elvis, who's going out of DePaul, from Bill Crothers you mentioned. Hundreds and hundreds of guys. It's the culture of basketball in the Toronto area.
Exactly, and it's everywhere too. Look at Montreal. That's a hotbed as well. I mean, guys out of the East Coast, Lindell Wigginton has come out of there. You just
Iowa
never
State,
know. Yeah, exactly. And the great thing, again, we're all building it together. The sheer numbers of more kids playing basketball, will create more opportunities. The amount of teams looking and scouting, internationally and bringing them here makes my job a hell of a lot easier. We're building together, and it's a fun time to be a part of Canadian basketball.
We got to be pushing somewhere close to 200 Canadian Division I men playing basketball coming up in the next season. Another guy I want to chat about came through these doors that was a redshirt freshman last year at Colorado, Keyshawn Barthelemy. I love Keyshawn's game. I love Keyshawn as just who he is as a guy, real competitor, and that's one guy, another guy out of this gym that I look to have a big impact in college basketball this season.
For sure, like a high major talent. I don't know how Tony feels about him after knocking him out 2 years ago in the playoffs. Yeah. He had, I believe, 27 points and a half. Shout out to Charles, one of the best coaches to come out of Canada as well. Yeah. An unbelievable scoring guard. A lot like Jefferson here. A scoring guard learning to, balance their playmaking, but really an elite level athlete, elite level scorer, great shooter, confident. Had 40-point games. Another guy, no limit, another great, talent out of Montreal. People told me early on when I was coming up, that Montreal, they just have a bunch of great athletes. I mean, they have a ton of talented players. You can see the level of talent of some of these guys like Jeff, and Keyshawn, Lou Dort. I mean, but Keyshawn really is a guy that, has NBA potential, I think.
Yep.
That's an elite athlete. There's nothing holding him back. Again, another guy that needs opportunity. They've had McKinley Wright running the show the last few years at Colorado, so if they can put the ball in Keyshawn's hands and let him play through mistakes, I mean, again, I don't think there's a limit to how good he can be. He's like a Kentucky level athlete, I believe.
One of the things I love, obviously, I love Keyshawn's athleticism, and when he transferred, was it Vaughn or Thornley? Where'd he go?
Keyshawn?
Yeah.
He was at Thornley.
Yeah. So when you mentioned they beat Orangeville in the semis, I called the final game where they lost to TRC, and you mentioned he put up 40 whatever against Orangeville. The next game, he had one of the worst shooting performances in the history of his life. I think he was about 0 for 14 from 3 before he hit one. But after the game, I went and interviewed a bunch of the TRC kids, and then I was trying to interview some of the Thornley kids, and every single one of them was like, no, all walk by me. And Keyshawn came up and said, all right, Chris, let's do the interview. He goes, I was terrible today, but I'm going to own it on camera. Let's go. And I was like, even just that alone says so much about, every other kid was like moping and sulking. I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And Keyshawn was like, no, I'm a man up. Let's go.
Yeah, well, that's why you can't get down so much. I think they were down 37-23 at the half. So that requires every bit of effort that you have. The next day you're probably, you have nothing left.
Yeah, I think he was just gassed.
Yeah, I'm sure he was gassed. It is what it is. At the same time, Darius DeVere over there was one of the guys that capitalized. Darius has won the championship of the OSBA 3 years in a row with 3 different squads. You got to look at that again. Another winning key. But Keyshawn, great guy to come out of this program. Played here a few years ago and ended up really succeeding at Thornley, going to Colorado, and let's see what he can make of it.
You mentioned that Darius winning 3 championships in a row, 3 different teams. One of the coaches I got a good relationship with is Richie Riley, head coach down at South Alabama. And when Richie first went to Nicholls State, and that was a program hadn't had a winning season in 20 years, and he helped them, within 2 years, co-conference champions in the Southland. But he told me, he's like, Chris, one of the first things I did was I went and recruited guys that had won games. He goes, I got a JUCO national champion, because he goes, if you're in a losing program, you need kids that understand how to win. And I think Darius, that's one of those guys that I think coaches are going to look at just based on his ability to win.
That's it. I mean, you can't deny that. Championship 3 years in a row. I think he had something like 10 assists in the final last year. Gets everyone the ball where they want it. I mean, he's a guy you want to play with. And so many guys ask me about players that I love, saying what level, and I say, well, I'll help you win. That's it. And so, to me, it was that simple. There was a guy, Tyson Dunn, last year.
I love him. I love him.
Yeah, I told everyone, he ended up at Western, and he's going to be an absolute superstar there, And guys for sure are going to reach out to me and say, what happened? Like, how did this kid not go to high major or something like that? Well, they missed out, so, but this is where we have to get more eyes on Canadian basketball. Like you were saying, there's not that many scouts. We have to get as many opportunities as we can. Unfortunately, with everything going on, this is the best we're going to do. It's a great opportunity for them to see these players. While it's not live, you get, us on the call talking about them a little, and you get to see them, how they look in 2 hours, not just when they're playing. How do they look? Are they engaged when they're not in the drill, everything like that? So, this is going to be the new norm, but it'll, again, get an opportunity to get more eyes on our guys.
Mustafa Vanjav with the dunk. You mentioned Tyson Dunn, and that's the guy that I loved. And I spoke about him a few times in the broadcast. The problem with, I think, some coaches come into the gym and they pay a little bit too much attention to the pregame dunk warm-up as opposed to what's going on in the actual game. Tyson was one of those guys, when you walk into the gym, you don't look at him and go, who the hell's that guy? Yeah. But, one of those guys that 10 minutes into the game, you're like, who the hell's that guy? I thought he's a mid-major Division I player. Yeah. But that's a guy. You look to be an all OUA for Western, maybe more. Now, that's one of the things with the issues with the border and stuff like that. I think youth sports coaches are going to get a lot more access to some of these guys that maybe were considering going down to the States, maybe the political situation, or just, like for me, if I'm a young player, I have zero interest in going to the state of California right now with what's going on there, right? And so you got to think, I think because of what's happening, I think youth sports coaches are going to be a little bit more of the conversation for guys that maybe, say, a mid-major player, you might opt to stay home instead. Right,
yeah, and a lot of the guys end up coming back, too, when they don't get opportunities, and you got to shut out the youth sport guys. I mean, the level has become unbelievable. Like, if you watch that Final Four, there was a player I'm blanking, out of the West Coast.
Calgary?
East Coast, Dow.
Yeah.
On Dow, there was a point guard. I think his name is Keenan Vaynot. I mean, to me, every G League team should already be looking at him. He was a superstar. So there's tons of talent. You know, you saw Western Carleton repeats, obviously. I mean, they've been an unbelievable program. You saw, Anderson in the CEBL. He's one of the best defenders I've ever seen in my life that came out of their program. So the level is really, really high already, and the coaches are doing an unbelievable job of recruiting from so many different avenues. And they'll continue to do it here, and their ability to be in the gym and build relationships with the guys here. I mean, and also we have the CEBL now. Shout out Joe Razzo for building an unbelievable league. Joe's the man. Joe's been scouting and coaching forever. So they've been able to build a league here where the players can see firsthand in the flesh a path to playing pro. And I think that more than anything is going to elevate the level of U Sport. I mean, I think U Sport already is a level like around, mid-major type level and just doesn't get the recognition as such. But, us basketball heads here know what it is. And it's a great opportunity for guys to keep guys at home. And, as they build their programs here, we'll see how it plays out.
Well, obviously, the program Dave Smart built up at Carleton. I had the chance to go up there. I remember about 3-4 summers ago, I went up to watch Carleton play Wichita State, and they ran Wichita State out the gym. And I interviewed Greg Marshall, the Wichita coach, after, and then the next night I think he was livid at that. Because they didn't just get beat, they got ran out. Right. It was like 25, 26-point loss. Right. And then the next night, he snaps and throws the chair at the ref over at McGill.
Wow.
And I think he was frustrated because they blame it on the ref, but I think they underestimated the level of competition coming up.
Oh, my God.
And it put them in a bad spot.
Well, like we've talked about the level of preparation these prep teams prepare kids for. At Carleton, it's a different level. They've done an unbelievable job, obviously, at preparing their guys and being ready right from the start. Well, you have a bunch of athletes coming in that think that they're going to run over these guys. They get punched in the mouth pretty good, and you've seen they've beaten Cincinnati. I think they killed Cincinnati by 20 or so, and the level here is building. They've made people take notice, and so has Roy Reyna's done a great job of making people take notice. I mean, he got Tenor Ngom here. Yep. Tenor, who's going to Florida State, who I think is a first-round type player. Like, he is super talented. I know they're going to, they should have a season, so guys will get a chance to look at him.
Who's my guy, the Canadian I loved that was out of Florida State last year? I'm drawing a blank. Big man. He got drafted. I think he's like.
2 years ago, Fiondu Kabengele.
Yes, yeah.
Absolute stud.
That's my guy. I love, and I think
stud.
I see that the kid from Ryerson kind of sort of squeezing into that kind of role.
Yeah, well, both skill guys. Yeah. Both skill guys at great size.
Kabengele, that's it. Yeah.
Fiondu Kabengele was my favorite player in the draft, and I saw him in live workouts. He could really shoot. He's aggressive. I think he's going to be an NBA starter. But he needs he's with the Clippers. He's not going to get 1 minute there.
Yeah.
He needs the opportunity. As we go in here, the guys are going to
little scrimmage. So
play 2A champion, what they call it. Chris, you want to explain it?
Well, just scrimmaging, basically.
Yeah. Well, they're going to scrimmage. The way it's working is the first team to 7 points. To get 1 point, you got to get a stop and a score.
That's right. Yeah. So Tony said we may be going for half an hour here. So we've got 30 minutes on the clock.
Yep.
So Mbike drives. Nobody gets in the way.
That's Enoch. There you see Enoch's aggression again. Yeah. Enoch's aggression always stands out. He's just got the special level of aggression. He's a dog. He gets after it. And, he's hard to stop once he decides he's getting to the rim.
I'd love to see Enoch Boake up here, maybe.
Another
one of my favorite Canadian players.
Yep. Shout out Enoch and shout out Coach George. They've done an unbelievable job developing him. Going to Michigan State, Manny. Getting a good player there and a great kid. Great teammate. Cheers his guys on. You got to love that stuff.
Stewart blocked from behind. Is going to be called with a foul. So on the floor in white, you got Aaron Abunabi in 12. Number 12, Enoch Kalambe, 5. Rory Stewart out there, 15. Jalik Dunkley distant, 0. And Jefferson Monegro, number 4. In red was Darius Tavero, 1. Majambu Mbike, 11, with the ball in his hand. Justin Chase, 8. Dubinsky, number 6. And Justice Gordon, number 2, out there in red.
Yeah, and you see Majambu showing one of his great skills, which is attacking the offensive glass. When I was watching the tape in preparation for this, you see over and over how quick his second jump is and just he's got a nose for the ball. He attacks the offensive glass aggressively, and they're getting a number of rebounds.
Jalik gets his own rebound, can't get it to go. Dubinsky pushes the ball up.
Good ball movement here.
Short on his attempt. Good hustle from Dubinsky.
Yeah, again, making a winning play, right? Like those are the types of things that he does. He helps make winning plays.
And BK for three.
No, a little short, but Majumbu's shot, trust me, has come a long way. He's got soft touch. When I was watching the tape again, you could see that he can actually shoot it. Now they've said, in spot-up situations, he's been automatic a lot of the time. So to add that to his level of size and athleticism, I mean, he's a high-level guy.
Yeah, I can see the sweat stripe on that one. They got to get something down there because that's dangerous. Yeah. Monegro.
Great look.
Ooh.
Great shot.
Jalik Dunkley distant for three.
You see Jeff being a leader there, pumping his guys up, not only calling the play, making the read to the weak side, a tough pass, but also pumping his guys up. It's stuff you love to see. And from all accounts I've heard, he's that type of guy.
So, of course, the kids normally, most years, they obviously play basketball here, but attend the local Orangeville High School. Not this year, all courses online. So more of even a focus on basketball here. I think I see, I got a 16-year-old, my son turned 17 next week. He spent the last 6 months doing online. He's doing online now. I think, they're getting used to it. My son likes it because, again, he's trying to do something similar as these guys where it allows him more time to work out in the day. He does his classes, and then there's some time in between. 1 or 2 classes he's actually got to be online with people, but other time it's kind of do the work in your own time.
Right. And I mean, it's a new world. You just have to get used to how you're going to succeed in it, right? And you got to hold yourself accountable, obviously, like all of them do.
Justice Gordon went down hard. He slipped down the end, and it looks a little worse for wear. That's why they're stopping the play. I think Justice is all right. Maybe just a little bang after he hit the floor pretty hard. It's all right.
He's a tough kid. He'll be good.
All right, back to it. Monegro guarded by DeVero. It's a good matchup.
Yeah.
Vanjav, too strong, rebound Dubinsky. Dubinsky's one of those guys that, when you walk in the gym, again, you don't say who's that, but coming into the game, you see his work ethic, and he's just kind of everywhere. I like what I'm seeing out of him, number 6, Wilson Dubinsky.
He's always around the ball. You can see, you notice he gets a rebound. You don't even have to look for it. A lot of times when you're scouting specific guys, you really just watch them, how they act. Well, you don't need to look for him. He just makes plays. And there we saw Majumbu again with another, nice finesse finish. I mean, his athleticism is just really, really high level, and his ability to get to the rim. You got to cut off the line drives. If you don't, you're in trouble.
Monegro with a 3. Talking about Dubinsky still, he's also competed in track and field, shot put, and discus. I know a lot of coaches always want to know what other sports you play.
There you go. And I like, you've talked about soccer. I know Darius DeVere was a soccer player, and one thing it helps is the footwork.
Yeah.
The ability to, very few guys have the ability to attack north-south and also east-west, to stop on a dime and counter the defense. And that's where that kind of footwork, a lot of the guys just have trouble learning those skills. And that's actually, when talking to Jeremy, shout out Jeremy, who's now on Dave DeVero's staff at Ryerson, he was talking about Majumbu's ability to learn a new skill, watch the tape, and be cerebral, really pick it up easily. That's an important skill, and that footwork and everything is hard to learn for a lot of the guys. So when you play another sport, it seems it helps with your development.
I'm a big college football guy, a big Ohio State guy as far as college football anyways. And Urban Meyer, obviously the head coach there for a few years, and that's the first question he asks every single coach or player: what other sport do you play?
Well, the other thing is a little diversity. Are you a person more than just a basketball guy? Or, they want to know about that stuff too. Because, at the end of the day, scouting, whatever it is, there's other aspects to your life, you know, and they want to make sure that all those things go, you know, one and the same.
Abu Nabi with a hard foul on Mbike.
Yep. Gotta love that, playing hard.
I'm okay with that. You know, I want to see a bit more.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
Darius looking good. Nice little fadeaway jumper there a minute ago over top of Abu Nabi.
I think he's played great this whole practice. He showed a bit of what he can do. The jump shot, the three, the facilitating.
In and out, rebound Abu Nabi, Monegro, and oh, what a play. And Mbike steals it behind the back, keeps it in.
See Darius there relocating. You know, that's one of his best skills, I would say, is IQ within the offense. You got to relocate to where the passing lane is, you know, and there you saw Justice got cut off, you know. The help came, so you got to give him some help.
Monegro.
Feed
inside to Rory. There you said you wanted to see his post moves.
Yeah, well, they loaded up on him pretty good there. His only opportunity was to fade, it looked like. But he does have that ability for sure.
So Rory, a class of 2022, so still pretty young. A lot of time to develop that game with his back to the basket.
For sure, but I mean, you know, his size, his ability to shoot, his willingness to shoot, his aggression to shoot, his ability to, you know, either short roll, finish popping a three, or play, you know, ducking down into the post, which I think is how he started. Like, from watching his tape, you know, he was initially just a true post. So, you know, I think he's developing all of that, and, you know, as his body matures and in athleticism, I mean, he's going to be a high-level guy.
You got to think, maybe he's not done growing yet as well.
No, yeah, you hope so. Yeah, you hope so.
So Rory, mentioned a 2022. Also played at St. Mike's before, as well as Rise Prep. Averaged 9.3 points per game last year for Rise.
As Enoch throws it down, you know, they were playing him to drive left. Well, he's a lefty. They were getting on his right hip. I mean, he's a lefty. He was just looking him off, waiting for that lane, and there again, showing his aggression and ability to finish. He's a super athlete, lefty scorer that, again, another high major guy.
DeVero responds for the Red Squad. Kalambe, well, hey, he's the hot hand. You got to give it back to him.
Yeah, let's see what he can do again. Look off, they let him get right, you know? They let him get left. You can't let him get left. Got to take away that left hand.
Dubinsky, along two. Drains it.
Right place, right time again. I mean, how many times is he going to do this during the practice?
So Dubinsky, a class of 2021 from Ottawa, played with Canada Top Flight Academy.
Yep. Shout out to Tony and everyone there. Blakely, what up, Blakely?
Monegro. Wide open look. He's got to take that. No shot clock here, obviously. I feel like we're in like Georgia or something.
Yeah, I know.
Just gonna pass the ball around for 30 minutes.
I know, they're allowed to. They're allowed to. Colombe's on fire here.
I saw some game. It was like a girls' game. It was something like 3-2 at the half. And you're like, and that's what everyone's like, come on, man. What do you, you know, we got to get a shot clock here.
No, you're not helping anyone. You know, it's at the end of the day, it's about their development.
Yeah.
You're not really helping them if they're not shooting the ball. There you see Justin shoot it confidently. Back to Colombe. He's putting a lot of pressure on the D, you know. You want to get up in his space, he's going to drive right by you. You want to give him a little space, he's going to knock down the three as Rory hits the jumper there.
Long jumper from Rory Stewart there. He's really, it's really smooth. It's effortless, his stroke.
Is. Yeah, it is. It is. He's a natural.
Oh. Right idea from Chase. Darius just didn't connect on it. Kalembe. I watched a couple highlights of him. He reminds me a little bit of one of my favorite guys in this year's draft, Jay Scrubb, the lefty.
The JUCO kid.
Yeah. And I've watched quite a bit of Jay's. I think that guy's I think he's a legit NBA player. Whereas Enoch, obviously not quite there yet, but it's just kind of his style, his style and flow of the game a little bit. It's like a poor man's Jay Scrubb.
I got you. Again, you doing my job better than me. I haven't really watched much of him as Aaron hits a three, doing what he does best. He's a great shooter. I haven't watched enough of him. So you're telling me.
Check some YouTube out. He's eye-popping.
Wow.
I think that's a guy, obviously a JUCO guy. He was committed to play. He's from Louisville, was going to play at Louisville, and then just said, I'm going to go straight to the league. And I think he's good enough to do it. Obviously, late first, early second. But I think he's a definite NBA player.
Look, it's about potential, and everybody's trying to get in as quickly as they can. The G League created this new route where, you can go straight from high school and get paid for it, and guys have been going, that was to stop guys from going to Australia or across the world just to go play pro. So, they're creating so many different avenues for guys that, you have great options if you're coming out.
Dubinsky. BK in and out, unlucky. Monegro trying to push the tempo. A good vision from Stewart. Yep. Sterling had a wide open look, but didn't want to take it.
Yeah. Again, he's a really good shooter too. Just got to be willing to let it fire. And Rory's shooting again his passing ability, which he showed against Orangeville actually as well. He's got his head up on the roll or on the pop, and he's looking to make the right decision while still being aggressive, putting that pressure on the defense as a shooter. Tighter game now, 5-4.
Abu Nabi. Kenyon Sterling to Monegro.
Oh, had a look. Passed it up. So the right idea in terms of getting his guys involved, but...
Ooh! And BK, and then he wants to talk some junk to Stewart.
That's all right. Gets them 1 point away now.
And BK from Montreal, class of 2022.
Yep.
Averaged 13.6 points per game last year. 4 TRC, 58% from the field.
Yeah, he just gets so many easy baskets around the rim because he's such a great athlete and really developed into a three, a true three last year. Needs to probably learn to slide a little more rather than, just use his raw athleticism there, but a great athlete. As you see, Enoch hit another three.
Kalembe.
Yeah, these CTA guys have come in and been knocking down shots all day.
One of the things I'm seeing is, a guy like Enoch he's a gamer. Not everyone's going to blow your mind in practice. Not every guy's going to play that intensity. But all of a sudden, I watched the first few drills. I don't think much of Enoch. Now the game's playing. Now you're like, who the heck's this kid?
Yep.
Some guys are just gamers.
Yeah. When lights go on, again, that goes back to what I was saying, that get after it mentality that he's got. And it shows once the game starts, He is aggressive, talented, and you hear him screaming there. I don't know if mature is the word as much as focused. He's just focused,
He's so mature, he's mature.
Yeah, there you go.
And BK. Step back three. No good. Rory Stewart there.
It might have been for the win there. He wanted that one. Definitely wanted that one.
So Monegro, still a 2022, so he's got lots of time as well. Another three.
He does. Enoch Kalembe, I believe, 3 for 3 here from 3. So white team keeping it close with red. As you could see, Jeff, great defense there, moving his feet, sliding, staying in front of Darius. Majumbu taking off as he does and finishing. Continues to talk trash to his teammates. teammate from last year, Jefferson Monegro, who continues to be his teammate. So they can get his stop. That's it.
I'm trying to rack my brain for who would be the best trash talker I've seen walk through this gym over the past couple of years. I know the best agitator I've seen is Shamar Rattan-Mays. He can get under teammate like the opposition's skin, and we've seen it here. Oh, big three, Aaron
Clutch
Abu
shot.
Dhabi.
Clutch shot by Aaron. Confident again. You know, he's a younger player that shows how confident he is in this shot. It really stands out. You know, he's playing with a bunch of older guys, high-level guys, and he has no fear. And a good look again, reading the D by Rory, hitting his man, a better shooter to knock it down. But yeah, in terms of trash talkers, I would say Iggy Brzdikis, no?
Well, you know, Iggy here, he was a lot more quiet. You know, I think he reveled in being the bad guy, you know, at Michigan.
Yeah.
And Iggy was always kind of quiet. And I didn't see him talk that much junk while here.
Interesting.
It was more he became that at Michigan, I think.
Right. Well, whatever it was, he's become that guy.
Yeah.
He loves the talk, the trash talk.
He's got the snake tattoo now, you know.
Yeah, he's the term I would usually use for him, I can't use on the mic.
Ooh. Abu Dhabi went down hard.
Gotta get back. Stop the ball.
Chase,
Oh,
ooh, clever. See, that's one of those ones you want to see him use his left hand, but hey, it still works. Counts for two.
You know,
well,
that's where,
anyway.
yeah, that's where guys, you know, like Matthew Alexander Moncrief has never had to really, you know, utilize every skill that he's got because he's so damn athletic and skilled as a finisher that, you know, he can get his primary option. But now playing, you know, at a very high level, high major, he's gonna have to learn more, or at least go to those other moves that he has, you know, finishing outside with the left, I would say, is an example.
So Moncrief down at Oklahoma State. Now, one of the rubs is they're ineligible for the NCAA tournament this upcoming season. So we will not be seeing him in March Madness. Disappointing, but hey.
That's too bad. As long as we get to see him in games, you know, I think you'll see him enough. You'll get to see his consistent finishing, how reliable he is as a scorer, not looking to force bad shots. I honestly think he's going to be a draft pick, and
no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, he's a special type of athlete, and we'll see how he turns out. Shout out to my guy Eric Pastrana there, great coach. So, you know, they can still have a season, still have a great season. They have Cade Cunningham, who's maybe the number one player, number one prospect, potential number one draft pick.
Well, I know Cade was key in getting Matthew down to Oklahoma State. He was really championing and pushing him to get down there.
You can imagine you have a guy that's unbelievable attacking the rim within one dribble of the rim, and you have a 6, whatever he is, 7, 8 point guard. I mean, the defense is going to be loaded up on Cade, and MA can find his spots. You know, he's an elite cutter, can find his spots to get easy baskets. I mean, my prediction is he shoots in the 50 to 60% from the field because he gets so many easy looks.
You know what? I'm bursting. So you're going to run the mic for a minute here? Give me 2 seconds. I'll be back.
No problem.
This is year 5 right here. 1, 2, 3. Wilson, you're still on. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, we're back.
6.
They're running it back, and it's the first to 7. I'm not sure they're doing win by 2 or not. So let's see after they've talked what they look to focus on here. Misses the easy look. Jefferson looks to push it ahead now. Oh, they're showing hard on him. They want to make sure he's not going to be their scorer that beats them. Rory aggressive from 3. Thought he had it just short. And that's an area where Rory's going to learn, you know, how to read the defense a little better, where to pop, where to short roll, when to roll. Figure out, you know, what space he can get into there. As Jeff hits the pull-up three, I mean, he's been hitting threes confidently. I love the types of shots he's looked for within the offense while still trying to run everything, you know, but take smart shots. As Jeff brings it up the floor. Back to Jeff, looking to get it inside to Rory. Rory saying the screen. Jeff just looking him off and taking the three. He's been hot, so he was due for a miss.
See, normally I get halftime to get a washroom break in, so I had to improvise here.
That's all right.
You know, one of the guys I wanted to chat about, too, one of my favorite guys to ever walk through this gym, Keyshawn Saunders, now down at Toledo, all-freshman team in the MAC this past year.
Yeah.
And that's a guy I've been a huge fan of. Felt he was the most underrated player in the OSBA the year he was. His last year was here.
Right.
And I think that guy is going to have a great career down at Toledo.
Oh, I mean, I know one of the coaches there that was working with him. He shot the piss out of the ball this year, and we'll see, you know, as he develops, what type of player he turns into. But, I mean, it seems like he's got that elite skill right now.
Big three from DeVero.
Yeah, so we've restarted it. We're going back up to 7 again.
I feel refreshed, too. I'm good.
There you go.
Monegro
with the nice hezzy blow-by, but can't finish around. It's a good opportunity to finish with the left, but, you know, reaching out sometimes it's easier to get to the rim with your right as well. Again, we talked about a bit of the culture, you know, the every time a guy's down, you see everybody running to lift them up, you know. Those types of things are where, you know, you trust guys coming from a program like, let's say, Orangeville. You know, you trust them moving up to the next level, that they've been at high-level practices, but they also know how to act in each of those specific situations.
You know, it's crazy. You know, so I spoke to dozens and dozens of NCAA coaches, and one of the first things they always say is, you know, with that accent, well, Chris, I'm trying to establish my culture. And, you know, a lot of it I thought was, you know, that's kind of BS. It's just coach speak. But the more and more you realize how important it is.
Culture is absolutely everything, you know. And if you get used to, you know, this is why it's great playing prep and playing at the higher levels. And I promote every kid, you know, every high-level kid to do it. You need those opportunities to see what it's like to get in those situations that you're going to be put in at the next level and become comfortable in them.
You know, talk about culture. You know, I mentioned that Naismith Classic and went down to Harvard, watched Lucas Dakota as a guy that, you know, we all saw in this gym playing with King's Christian. And to be honest with you, I mean, I love Tommy Amaker as a coach. I didn't like what I saw. I sat right behind their bench. I saw a lot of players in fear of their coach, that playing scared because they didn't want to get chewed out. And I think I don't know if that's a healthy culture to play scared like that.
Well, I mean, I can't comment on their stuff, but in general, you again, this is what I've harped back to. You need to know that you're not going to get pulled if you make one error, you know, and whether that's a bad shot or, you know, a missed defensive assignment. I mean, they're humans, right? So everybody's going to make mistakes. You need to know that you're going to have the opportunity to play freely and through mistakes, because if you don't have that opportunity, you're never going to develop. You're just going to play afraid. You're going to play in a small role, and you're never going to know what you can become because, again, you play in fear. So I think the opportunity to play through mistakes is like the number one key to succeeding in basketball. You know, a guy is a great example, a guy like Nickeil Alexander-Walker with the Pelicans, who's got all the skills. We've seen he's actually a point maybe even, you know, he can play with the ball in his hands, he can play without, he can make plays, he can score. He could score from all three levels. He's super talented. But, they have so many guards, they're so guard heavy. He needs an opportunity to show what he can do through mistakes, and figure out who he really is, because at this point, I don't think he really knows in the NBA what his role is going to be. And maybe he can be a starter, but we need to be able to see what he can do through mistakes.
Nickeil, obviously out of Virginia Tech, played for Buzz Williams down there, along with Jonathan Kabongo, another Canadian. And Jonathan, unfortunately, one of my favorite players I've ever met and spoken to, and he's retiring from basketball. due to injuries.
Yeah, well, it is what it is too. There's a love of the game that has to come through it. If a lot of the guys that are tall end up just playing basketball because of their size, and there's a component of that in scouting as well. How much do they love the game? How much are they just tall? And even with athletes, it's the same thing. How much is this guy just an athlete, or does he really love the game? Does he really love to compete? There you see Jeff, one of my favorite things to look for is early elevation. He's able to elevate before the defense is able to react, and as a result, he claims that space at the rim, right? There you see Majumbu talking more trash.
Keep talking junk. Love it.
He loves talking trash. Yeah, but Jefferson had a great finish there. That early elevation, if you go touch him once he elevates early, and with his level of athleticism, it's a foul. So that's where that kind of stuff really helps, the early elevation.
Looks like Rory Stewart maybe rolled his left ankle a little bit on that last play. Let's see, that's one of those things you got to get up and keep walking on it. Don't let it. Well, hopefully. He's got weight on it, so that's a good sign. Because I've broken both my feet, and I know you can't even put your foot. You can't even put your foot down like that. So
hopefully, just a bit of a roll.
Looks like he rolled it a little bit. Yeah, broke my left foot playing soccer, my right foot playing pick a ball out on the street. Sometimes when you got the curb, and so we had the hoop, and I go for a lane, and it came right down on the curb because it was right on the end of the street, and you could hear it right away.
Right. And most guys substitute someone else's foot for that instead, right, in a game. And you just never know how hard or how bad the break is or the sprain is, but hopefully he's all right. Right back to the action, though.
Samara Sakara, number 13.
Showing his breakdown skills. He had a few nice drives.
And BK, he's had a couple big blocks over the past couple minutes here.
Yep. He's always around the ball again.
Dubinsky.
Sag off. Got to shoot it. Here's Jeff again, playing with his head up. Good look out.
It's Janai Dunkley distant. Nice.
Looked good the whole way.
Janai making an impression today.
Yep. He's been good. He spaced the floor properly. He ran his lane, and Jeff hit him right on the money.
Ooh. And BK. He's looking for someone to talk junk to now.
Yeah, anyone. Anyone that'll listen.
He's going to start cursing you and I out.
Yeah,
up on
anyone
the
that'll listen.
Yeah. Monegro, guarded by Alberto Menendez. Seeing some action, number 25 in red.
Yep.
Alberto.
Good job cutting him off there.
He said he's from Waterloo, but I know he played for the Kingston Impact in Frontenac High School.
Frontenac, they've had a really good team, actually. They've had a really good team the last few years. They have a few really interesting prospects. I believe that's where Sam Plater plays, one of my favorite point guards coming out of the Kingston area. True point guard, really good feel for the game.
Ooh. Vanjav with the block.
Yep.
Monegro, as the clock expiring, can't get it to go. So let's, Mark, if you're there, we could go into Tony on his mic as he gets the guys together in a huddle.
Bring it in. Good job. Hey, guys. Okay, for the first week, we got a lot to work on, but we have a lot to build up on. You understand? Okay, ball movement. I've seen guys take shots you shouldn't take. Got to go one more. That's why we do that drill. Understood? Guys, when guys are down on the ground, we pick them up. Those are all team things. Those are all things that we have to do for each other. We shouldn't have to be telling you that. You understand? Okay, I like the energy on the side. I like what we're talking about. Okay, let's stay focused, stay in it. Okay? If a guy's down, we're all there to help him up. Understood? Okay, teammates injured, we're there. Then we give space, we fix it. Got it? Okay, but let's really just focus. Let's get better every single day. Every time we're in this gym, a little bit better. We have lots of time right now. That's why we're working on one thing at a time, and we're just starting to focus. Okay? Okay, understood. Anything, Coach Pat?
Yeah. I don't know what light days are, okay? But when there's a light day, take the light day. And Coach Tony will always reiterate that to you guys. Okay, but when we have a chance to go hard, which we just did, Let's make sure that we're always doing that every time until he says that we have that rest day, until he says that we're going a little bit light. Understood? Because hey, the energy level, the push, the consistency in terms of supporting your teammates through thick and thin was fantastic. But let's not just make that just because of that live stream.
All right. Yes.
I'm saying that we have to play like we're playing in front of 300 coaches every practice. You can't just turn it on when we want to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys get that? Hey, part of this is your routine. Part of this is guys that were up early having breakfast, making sure they got lots of fluids in them, making sure they were in stretching early. Understood? Just because I gave you a morning off this morning doesn't mean you shouldn't still be focused on doing all the other things you have to do to prepare. Got it? Okay, so here's the rest of our day. We're back in the locker room. We're going to grab something to eat quickly, and we're back to class. You understand? We're hurrying back to class.
Yes, sir.
Understood? Okay, got it? B and Coach Drew?
One thing I definitely loved today was the energy. I thought you guys kept that at a certain level the whole time. If I had to pick on one thing, and I told this to Red, and again, T said you guys have a lot of time, but the faster we could pick up on things, the better. We got to work on our rotation. I've seen a lot, even on white too, a lot of times that ball's swinging, we're looking at the ball, then we're going. You guys got to get to the point where as that ball's in the air, I'm busting my ass to get over to that spot wherever the ball is, whether I'm in help, ball, or deny, whatever it is. We just got to be able to pick up on those proper rotations. And then when it comes to the plays, everybody has to make sure they're on the same page as well.
Hey guys, I'm going to reiterate too. If you're unsure, when we went into that flow, we went sideline flow and we went into some of the drills. If you're still unsure, come talk to us. Have that conversation. You have teammates, you have coaches, you have guys on this team that have used that offense a lot. Okay, use it as a resource, fellas. You understand? You can't just come to practice, get through it, and say, "Whew, got through that one." Okay, you have to know it inside out, and it's real simple. If you can't learn the basic concepts, it's going to be really hard to learn everything else we put on in after the first week of school. Okay, so don't fall behind. It's like having homework and not doing it. Understood?
I got one thing. I'm going to emphasize on what Darius said. I'm going to point out Enoch. He didn't start off too well, but he turned that switch on. But let's turn that switch on from the jump, from before we even start practice, from the warm-up. Just turn that switch on and keep it on. But I did like how everyone brought the energy and picked up each other every single time.
Hey, really, really good, fellas. Here's what we're going to do. Everyone's going to get out of the gym. I need the seniors. Okay, so Darius, Wilson, and Darius Wilson. Okay, and Tyree's not here. Okay, so I need you two for interviews, and then I need Jeff, Mujambu, Jalik, and Ike. Okay, understood. The rest of us, we're into the locker room right away. Start getting ready, shower up, deodorant, all that good stuff. Understood?
For sure.
Okay.
Proud of y'all boys, man.
Hey, good job.
Hey, how we're going to 3? 1, 2, 3.
Good job. Everyone else out of here. No dribbling. No
All right,
bouncing.
if you guys are out there, we
Nice and
may
quiet.
be
Let's go.
doing some interviews with a couple players here. We'll see. We'll see if
Let's go.
Coach Tony McIntyre is
bouncing.
going to bring any of the guys over,
Hey, don't go anywhere. Just hang out here.
or
No, you're good. Hey, Wilson, let's go.
Either way, if we shut it down, Chris, it's been fun.
You guys are
My
down
first
here.
experience here.
You
oh,
guys
here we
can
go.
just
Well,
chill.
yeah,
Okay,
it looks like we're
come
going to do a
back.
couple interviews here.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So
Go
yeah,
get a
you
drink. Hurry up.
cracked the bottle of champagne open now. Got it out the way.
Yeah.
Probably have to yell.
We'll see.
a little
Hopefully
bit.
a lot more to come.
So we're gonna zoom in right here
Okay.
on them. If you want to ask them some questions, or
Yeah. Well, do I got to stay on this mic?
you stay on that
Yeah,
mic.
yeah.
I'm gonna give them this mic, and they're gonna go live to the feed.
Cool. So we got Darius DeVero and Wilson Dubinsky with us. So once he gets that set.
There we go.
So I kind of do
All
this.
right, clip it on my thing.
They're gonna stay up there. Yeah. So just clip it on when
See
you're
if I
talking.
got enough wire here. Kind of just.
Yeah, I'm good. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So I'll start with Darius. So obviously, you're returning. You're excited to, maybe a little bit more excited to be a bit more focal of the offense this year.
Yeah, that's something me and Coach Tony talked about. Me being one of the returners, that's a leadership role. So I took on the challenge as the captain this year. So I'll be more vocal in practice and in the locker room and stuff like that.
So you've won 3 OSBA championships in a row with 2 different clubs. Number 4 in you this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I hope so. If we can get a season in, I hope to do the 4P. I don't think anyone's ever done that, so I'm looking forward to it.
So you're in a kind of a bit of a rare spot, son of a head coach. Obviously, your father, David, head coach at Ryerson. I mean, what kind of advantage do you think maybe that gives you over some of the other guys out here?
I think I'm around basketball more than most of the other guys, so I think my IQ is pretty high, so I've been watching basketball. You know, my dad's been with a lot of teams, coached a lot of great guys, so just picking up things of what he's done, and just I watch a lot of basketball, and the term that the coach's son, so I think I got to live up to that.
So one of my favorite players ever to walk through these doors, Shamar Rattan-Mays.
Right.
I mean, you guys, you know, quite a tandem last year. What did you just learn from Shamar playing with him last year?
Toughness. I mean, Shamar, whether he's having a good game or bad game, he found other ways to be effective on the court. Whether that was defense, guarding the best guy, taking charges, being the most vocal. So that's something I learned off Shamar, being tough.
So Wilson, you've made the decision to transfer here to Orangeville Prep. Let's talk about thoughts behind, making that change. Even if you hold it up, you're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, for sure. Just wanted more basketball opportunity. This is legendary school. Wanted to play with Darius. I've been playing with Darius for 4 or 5 years now, and Enoch as well. And just wanted to come here and get started. Great opportunity.
So, I mean, we've all been sitting watching guys like Jamal Murray in the playoffs, Lou Gensdort. Thoughts seeing, guys like that, and now you're wearing the same jersey.
Yeah, it's wild. It's amazing to see. We grew up with the same people. We're doing the same things, same workouts, and looking to fill their shoes.
So, obviously, we're in kind of a bit of a weird time here. I know you guys are in high school. I got a son who's the same age. Let's talk about maybe mentally how challenging this has been for you guys to kind of stay ready, stay active. I know gyms were closed for a little bit. Maybe sort of personally, what have you done over the past couple months to stay focused?
It's not really been too hard for me personally. Very dedicated to the game. I have a goal to play D1 and then play professional basketball after that, and I got to do what I got to do to reach that goal. And if that's be in the gym all the time, then that's be in the gym all the time, and that's what I'm going to do.
So Orangeville undefeated last year. And obviously, you kind of knew what was going on. Any pressure to maybe live up to that here? I mean,
yeah, for sure.
The first loss, that's tough because they didn't lose last year, right?
Yeah, for sure. There's pressure, but we're a really, really strong team this year, it looks like, and we're ready for anything.
So either of you, goals for the season as far as a team?
As a team, I think we need to grow together. One thing about last year is we had good chemistry towards the end of the year. We got better each tournament, each game. So that's one thing. I think we need to build relationships on the court and off the court. And I think respect is a big thing. We need to respect each other, respect everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and work with each other.
So lastly, we got a whole bunch of coaches out there watching all across Canada and the U.S. What do you want them to know about Wilson Dubinsky and Darius DeVero?
I'm going to start. I just want the coaches to know that I'm a hard worker. I like to be a leader, help the younger guys and point and give directions and stuff to everybody who needs help. And then I think it's fair to say that I'm a winner. So I like to win. I'm very competitive, and I'm doing anything it takes to win.
Personally, really competitive as well, just like Darius. And I'm a hard worker. I do what I have to do. If it's go in, get rebounds, then I'll go in and get rebounds, even though I'm a little bit smaller. I do what I got to do. I work hard. I'm always in the gym, and that's pretty much it.
So Denver, LA Lakers series prediction quickly.
Lakers in 5. Shout out Jamal Murray.
Yeah, shout out Jamal Murray, but Lakers in 5.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah? Okay.
Leave my gym.
You got anything you want to ask? Or? Oh. All right, good. Oh, good. I'll grab a seat again. So we'll start with you because we're sharing with the mic. Who wants to start? So Majambu.
I just hold it?
Yeah, you good. So you made the decision to transfer here.
Yeah.
Reasons behind making that move?
I feel like I get more exposure here and that it's a better fit for me and we can win more games, and I'm all about winning.
So I noticed, we were talking about this. You like to talk a little junk out there.
Yeah.
Just kind of, what's that inspiration from? Are you one of those guys that kind of needs that to stay into it?
It's like I like to insert my dominance and let you know that like you need to play better if you want to compete with me.
That's a good answer. So Enoch, yourself, obviously you've made the move here to Orangeville. Thoughts on making the move?
I made the move basically because it's obviously for more exposure, get better as a good player on and off the court, and a lot of way more good reason.
So obviously, I asked Darius and Wilson about this. This team undefeated in the regular season last year, 20-0, OSBA champs. Is that challenging to live up to maybe this year?
It is a challenge, but I feel like my team, the team that we have, the team that the coach built, we can do the same thing too, because we have a lot of talents, a lot of players that can play, and yeah, we have a good team this year. We're all athletic, and I have a good feeling that we can do the same thing too.
So both of you, I kind of notice, doing some of the drills, it's like, hey, we know you're good players, but then as soon as the scrimmage start, the two of you kind of elevated. Is it fair to say you're a gamer?
Yeah, it's fair to say that we're a gamer. I don't know. I feel like it's always like that. Like when we get in the game, it's just give us like a boost, like a boost, just to like go hard and just go at each other. It's just like this.
Goals for the season now, 20-0 last year. I mean, what's realistic for Orangeville Prep in 2021?
I feel like it's realistic to go undefeated again and win more games and then continue the legacy.
The last question, Denver Lakers series prediction.
Of course I'd want Denver to win because Jamal Murray and all of that, but it's going to be a tough series if they were to win. But it looks like Lakers are going to win.
See, I got faith, man. I got faith in Jamal. So Denver in 7. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Last two, all right. Jalik's going to actually talk today. This is shocking. Yeah. So I'll start with Jalik because you saw him here last year. So Jalik, you were the youngster last year, kind of, getting to watch some of these guys like Moncrief and all that, and Jeff Nagandu. What one or two guys maybe you learned quite a bit from last year is just being here with Orangeville?
I learned a lot from Emmy and kind of like picked up like his how to say like I just watch everything Emmy does, like when he dunks the ball and all that, and just try to put that into my game. So
you remind me a lot of Moncrief. I remember years ago seeing Matthew as a grade 10 and guys like Tony saying to me, hey, wait till you see this kid. And they said the same thing about kind of you last year. I mean, what's a goal? What do you need to do to kind of take that next step this year with Orangeville?
Right now I'm trying to get better at my shooting, all of that, just work on my game.
Cool. So Jefferson, new to Orangeville, asked the other guys, you've made the switch here. What was behind the reasoning to come up to here at Orangeville?
I mean, Orangeville is Orangeville. I mean, who doesn't want to be here? And I felt like Orangeville was the best situation for me. I mean, I can get what I want. Like, people usually go to the States to get, exposure, good tournaments. And I was going to make that jump too, but then I realized they came in place and started talking to me. So I was like, if I can get the exposure that I want and they're able to put me in places, I want to play in front of coaches. And that's what I need to showcase my talent. So I was like, you know what, instead of going to the States, I'm going to stay home in Canada and yeah.
Cool. Were you at the Brookwood?
Brookwood Elite?
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you see the guys, Lugans, Dort, Keyshawn Barthelemy, one of my favorite players to ever come through here.
Yeah.
I mean, just talk about when you see a guy like Lou on TV doing what he's doing, give you a little bit more faith that maybe you're just a little bit closer
for sure.
to it?
Definitely. I mean, if he did it, why not? Why can't I? I mean, we're both from Montreal. He came here, and Keyshawn too. I played with him last summer, not this summer, 2 summers ago. I was playing up, so I learned a lot from him. Seeing Lugans in the gym and how hard he works, it gives you faith and more.
You remind me a little bit of him. Obviously, he's a little bit taller, stuff like that, but just the same approach, the aggressiveness. Did you pick up any of that from being around Luke?
Yes, definitely. I love watching his college games. It's he's just aggressive. I like the way he plays, so I guess it comes in my game a little bit.
So goals for the season, 2021, predictions for Orangeville Prep.
Wow, want to go undefeated. I mean, We want to go on the field. We don't want to lose. I feel like we all have the same mindset. We have a great coaching staff, a lot of great players, and we're able to put every difference that we have to the side and make it work. So I feel like we don't want to lose.
Best of luck, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, folks, so if you are out there on the stream, thanks for joining us. I think we're going to wrap up now. So obviously, Wes, in closing, remind them where they can find you.
Yep, on social media, Instagram, Wes B. Brown. On Twitter, Wes Blair Brown. NBAprospects.com is my website. If anyone needs me, DM me, whatever you need to do. We have a ton of Canadian talent here. I know about every kid, know everything about them, and we'll help you recruit Canada. Let's do it. Thanks again.
Cool. You can check me out at Mr. McKee, MRMCKEE. And, of course, don't forget to follow everything Athlete Institute and Orangeville Prep on social media. Thanks for joining us, guys.